Hey, Mike, this is Kyle. We see you online. If you don't mind just unmuting your microphone and then just speaking so we can make sure we have you. Hey, Mike, just one more time, if you don't mind unmuting your microphone so we can make sure we can hear you. But he does not have his mic unmuted, so he is here. He can't talk.
Well, I mean, we're going to start. Move on. You know, let's do that.
Yeah, we're going to. You can work with him on that, Kyle. Let's just get rolling.
Okay, give us one hot second.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Kyle. Hello, welcome to this evening's Town Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 1st, 2026, and the current time is 6:35 p.m. This meeting is being held at 24 Main Street here in Gray in the Town Council chambers. This meeting will be held in person and online with the link provided. Residents wishing to participate in the public comment or public hearing portion of the agenda may do so by clicking in to participate or call in using the phone number provided as detailed in the agenda. I'd like to do a quick roll call. Councilor Gass.
Present.
Councilor Edson.
Present.
Councilor Simoneau.
Present.
And do we have Councilor Johnson now?
He said yes.
We do not have his audio yet. We do see him, though.
I can see. Hey, give me a wave, Mike. He's working on it. I can see him there. Okay. Perfect. Let's just start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. We could. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So as we always do, we will start off with the approval of minutes. I move to approve the August 18th, 2026 meeting minutes as presented. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Are there any amendments?
Well, I do have a question.
Good, go ahead.
I was noticing on the yay and nays, and last meeting we had somebody that abstained from voting.
Yes.
I think that the names should be there. I mean, when you say 5 yays, then you know that everybody on the council at that time voted. But when you have just 2 nays and 3 yays, and you don't at least name the nays. I mean,
or you could say who abstained.
Well, you know, I'm going to cut in and say that I actually looked back through because I saw that it wasn't done either. And there are several meetings that it is and then some that it isn't. So it actually lists the yays and some.
So we should list the yays and the
people's
nays, but they usually don't list the individuals that vote. I don't believe that voted.
no, it should be. If you were a
you want
no
it?
on something particular, it should say Edson and Simoneau and
Is there?
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a problem with
I'll
that.
do it.
Yeah, it should be done because
Yeah,
half of them were and half weren't. So it was a hit
And
or miss.
then we know who abstained as well.
Yeah, we can do
Oh,
that.
it's a
That's good.
record for
No, I got it.
all eternity.
I have
Okay.
I have
Okay.
That's the biggest thing we tackle all night. I'm all for
Okay,
it.
well, good. It's
Awesome.
doubtful.
I know. Other than that, are there any other requests for amendments?
I did not.
Nope.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, hey, Mike. All right,
Hey.
so if there's no objections, let the minutes stand. Instead of saying all in favor, I'm going to say, because you're there, I'm going to say, you, Mike, you're in favor?
Yes.
The minutes,
Wait a
okay?
minute, are the minutes standing, or are they going to
Standing.
make these corrections?
Wait,
For-
Moving forward,
Moving forward.
yeah.
We'll just
forward.
do it moving forward.
right?
Is that fair enough?
Pam,
That's fine with
did
me.
you want that to be?
Well, no, I would like to have named in here. I mean, that's what we did for ZBA and things.
I know.
At least we did.
We can just vote on it. So Mike's yes. Do you want to move yes or no? As they stand.
I would like to have it so this one has it on it. Can we do that? Can we go
You
back
could,
and fix it?
you could put it on the next meeting agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to bring it back up again, go over the minutes again?
Well, we could just table it to the next.
Just fix it. Yeah, it's that simple. Really, it is a record.
I know. But if we do, then we can't. All right, so we're going to pull it down. That means we're going to, do we
Well,
table
we'll
it or we just vote it down?
Can we just approve as amended?
I would approve as amended. All right, and then,
That's what I-
just do the changes and
Yeah.
Yes.
we'll get the
Yeah.
changes out. That's fair. Yeah,
Yep,
I'll go with that.
that's
Okay.
good. All in-
All right, Mike, so what you're gonna do is, for the yays and nays, we're just gonna approve it as amended. You okay? Okay, beautiful, thumbs up. You're good with that?
Yes.
Council Gash, you good with that?
Yes.
Good.
That's an, all right, cool. So then we'll just redo that and you can just,
Yeah.
we'll send it back out. Okay, perfect. Okay, beautiful. All right, so next we're gonna go to council and committee reports, and I'm gonna start with Councilor Gass.
Thanks. Okay, none of my committees has met since the last meeting. Resiliency is on the agenda to present on the water quality protection ordinance later this evening. And the emergency management group is meeting tomorrow at the fire station, open space and planning board next week. I've had no council activities in the last couple of weeks. I want to thank Kyle Hediniak for quickly correcting an issue I flagged regarding the council packet that was initially posted that made it almost 400 pages long. I just mentioned this in case anyone tried to download it and was intimidated. It's now 98 pages, which is much more manageable. I received quite a lot of email in support of the water quality protection ordinance, not opposed. Also emails regarding council members' adherence to council rules or failure to do so. And I do want to just take this opportunity to make some comments about councilors' social media posts and specifically in relation to efforts to influence the conclusions of the school cost-sharing committee. It's my belief that the school cost-sharing formula and that committee is not council business. We as councilors or the council as a whole ought not to be interfering in the work of this committee. A statement was released from the town last week purporting to come from the council. I want to make it clear that I was not informed of or included in the decision to release this statement, and it was never publicly discussed by the council as it should have been. It appears to me that the council majority held an illegal meeting to discuss the content of the statement and the decision to release it. I think that was wrong. And in clear violation of the town's social media policy, sitting councilors have been expressing their views on Facebook without identifying themselves as councilors. This has happened before, and I think it's a problem. It seems to me that the rules have to apply to everyone equally. They are not optional. And I'll just note that, Judy, I think you were appointed to the school funding committee as a resident before being elected as a councilor. So in that role, you don't represent the council in any way, shape, or form, and you need to be
That's
careful.
correct.
That's
Yes.
right. So if you choose to speak at a council meeting about the committee, you should leave the dais and go to the mic and speak as any other audience member would. I just feel like the rules should apply to all of us or to none of us. And it's up to us to make sure that that happens going forward. All set?
Okay, thank you. Councilor Johnson?
Yes. Just
What? You're on mute, Mike?
Yeah, there we go.
There you
so,
go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All
I can.
So, as Ann said, I was not in a meeting at all, so I was a little surprised that we voted on something that I knew nothing about as well. Let's see, as far as going to, I didn't have any meetings at all over the last 2 weeks with any of my committees. I did receive several emails about the water quality. I didn't think we were voting on it though, so I'm not sure why we got all those emails about voting on it tonight. I went through the agenda a few times and couldn't see anything. I also got quite a few calls about the cost sharing, as well. And, I think I just want to make it very clear that, when I first joined this town council, one of the things that stood out is that, how significant a portion of the our tax bill was the school budget. And when I did look into it further, I noticed that there were multiple ways to pay. And I did approach Sam and asked him what we could do, and there were 3 different options. I took those options to Sue because I didn't feel it was appropriate for me to be involved in that. Sue did a great job of bringing that forward. And it's a little frustrating though to see the comments suggesting that somehow I'm against it because I'm with Sam. We're the 2 that started it, and are really happy that Sue took over and ran with it. I also did suggest that 2 councilors be on the board, which I was kind of reprimanded for, and now at least we do have a councilor on the board. The residents have taken this project on and invested a tremendous amount of time. I'm happy with that. But right now, it's really up to the board to do their job. And that's what I've been telling everybody. It's not up to the town council. I really do think that we should all wait for data before we, post anything online and make any comments about this. It's really their job to do that. Because those questions that they're asking are still being researched. My concern is that the process is becoming very politicized. It's filled with rumors and incomplete information. I think that we all want the best outcome for this. The biggest reason is Gray doesn't want to just reduce their taxes. We want to make it so that in my opinion that if we want to pass a bond, the citizens of Gray feel like they're not carrying the whole weight. So we really need to make sure that everyone, especially on the council, is letting them do their job and let them get their information out there. And I really hope that we do step back from the process and just let them go forward with it. And in the future, if we're going to, say something from the council, it's one of the things that I got reprimanded for multiple times last year. And you guys even brought it up again in the last few weeks, multiple times. And then we did it again. So if we're going to talk about council rules tonight, I think we need to make sure there's consequences because, everything that I got blamed for last year is the same thing that's happening today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Councilor Edson?
Yeah, I don't have anything to report.
No?
My committees.
That's fast. All right, Councilor Simoneau?
I think we had a finance committee meeting before since the last one. So we've made some good progress on the finance committee. We're getting some great reports now. We're trying to get through some of this stuff. We're pretty excited that Sue Fuller is now on there, and I understand Bob's up for renewal tonight, so I'm excited for that. So I just think that we've got probably the best the best finance committee this town has seen in a long time. So I'm very excited about that. So. As far as the cost sharing committee, I think I need to go down as a resident and speak at the podium when that comes up as a public comment, and I will address those issues then. So otherwise,
I guess you could go down.
You can go
You can go down right now.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Well, you're given a committee
Go down to the
report.
podium.
Yeah, you're given a committee. You can go down as a. Yeah, I mean that's part of your report. You can go down.
Oh.
I don't see any reason why not. You won't get to go down for 3 minutes in public speaking though. Comments, no.
All right, Judy Simoneau, Arlington Court. I bring this information to you because I am on the cost sharing committee for the school for the Gray and New Gloucester, and we have had 2 meetings. What was it? This? It's so far away. So we've had 2 meetings so far. The first one went okay, and the second one has been not so good for the residents of Gray. what happened was we had somebody, one of the committee members came fully prepared to show us an analysis of including state funding, and she had many pages included in that, and she basically brought it forward that we're pretty much equal and there's no reason to change anything. And I really felt I was duped in this thing. I felt like by the time that meeting was over, between her and Sam Feifel brought up all kinds of property values, how New Gloucester's paying more for their property taxes than New Gray, and just all the stuff that really wasn't relevant. And I felt like, honestly, I felt like I drank the Kool-Aid, honestly. I'm so sorry to the residents of Gray that I did not do a good job, because I felt like when I got done that meeting, I felt like my tail was between my legs and I had lost the war. But then I thought about it over the weekend. I mean, I see Sam Feifel whistling on his way out thinking, wow, this is a done deal, we're done. And I'm thinking, how did we get to this point? And for somebody to come into a meeting as a committee member and not bring the information ahead of time so people can review it is really a disservice to the members. And for the facilitator never stepped in and said, this is not correct, we don't use state funding to do the analysis. That was another error on that part. So by the time that we were all done with this, I just thought, you know what? This is not right for Gray. I have let Gray down for this. And I pulled out my bootstraps over the weekend and I said, you know what, this isn't right. Something's not right with this. And I did a lot of research. I went back to the Department of Education and I made a call in there to Charlotte Ellis, and she confirmed with me that the Department of Education, from the department, has said that state funding is not to be included in the analysis. It has to be local costs only. And she also said the survey that we were putting out was not correct either, because it was sort of leading, because in the survey, it basically said in the survey that, that it's equal or more equal because of the state funding, and that's not true. She was trying to sway the vote on the survey. So the survey that's out there it doesn't even have the correct information. So the Town of Gray Council went ahead and made a correction on the website and said this is the correct information, and it's just about that Gray pays about 67% and New Gloucester pays 33%. So we just made that adjustment to the website survey stating the real information. And we as a town council and myself have gotten a lot of really tough emails back on this. So what we're just trying to do is we're just trying to set the record straight of the real data that's supposed to be presented, so it's right data. We don't want people doing a survey on information that's not correct. So I don't know where the committee is going to go with this. I have no idea. I am seeking out some legal advice on this, because I think taxpayers in Gray, they need that. This is a disservice to them, and I am willing to step up to the plate and fight for the town of Gray, because I think they deserve it, and I think it's only fair that we move forward and try to fix this thing and work together professionally on that committee and come to a solution. I would rather see that the committee actually, between 6 of us, say that yes, let's move forward and bring this to the voters. I don't think 6 people should vote and say, yeah, we're done, yay, nay, this is over, or we really should be saying, let's move forward and let's bring this to the ballot and let the taxpayers vote on this. That is really my ideal solution for this, so thank you.
Just point of order. I just want to point out that again, Judy has mentioned that the town council, she allied herself in her statement with the town council and said the town council released this statement. That is an inaccurate statement. Mike and I were not, at the very least, were not included in that decision. And it was inappropriate. No, we were not. That the statement was going out. And it was not the case that we were, that I can't speak for Mike and I won't, but for myself, I was not informed the statement was going out. And again, it's important to keep the roles clear. And, you had no authority to release that statement on behalf of the town council.
Well, we felt we did at that time. We even had authorization,
Don't bring it up. So my reports are the Ordinance Advisory Committee met on the 24th, and we obviously Tammy's out on leave, so we're kind of a little bit slow, but we're still working on the zoning, and that's something that we're hoping to move forward with. And then again, we met with the Finance Committee on the 25th, and I think we're making good headway with regards to working with the town finances and the Finance Committee on getting some good things going. With regards to the school board vacancy applications, tomorrow, which is believe that's 9/2, is that what, yeah, I think tomorrow's 9/2, and that is the deadline, and we look forward to moving forward with things as shown using the process outlined on the website. There will be an opportunity to hear from the top candidates at our 9:15 town council meeting, and then that night a candidate will be selected for the vacancy. So I guess I'm gonna have to hop down where you went as well. All right, Vincent Palange, Poplar Ridge Road. I want to comment with regards to the cost sharing committee. As Ann had stated, we're really not involved with this at all. But I am a resident of this town, and in reviewing some of the information, I noticed several red flags from the original information that was handed or held by the facilitator that was not used to the survey that has gone out. And so, the town council, I want to get back to the posting. The town council hears presentations, orders, resolves, and all kinds of information, and unless told by others or from our own experience or research, we assume the information is accurate, and if found to be otherwise credible, we may make changes accordingly. This was the reason why the town of Gray had posted on the website an update to the cost sharing information. With regards to cost sharing, I've heard all kinds of back and forth information, and it doesn't really clarify things. People aren't doing their research, so I'm not sure how many people have personally researched the topic in detail and reached out to speak with the Department of Education on this, but I have, and I did, and I took it upon myself because I wanted to make sure what I was hearing was accurate. And based on the data, the research, and the conversations with the Department of Education directly, the numbers currently posted on the Town Gray website, the ones that the facilitator had in her hands, are the accurate figures. When the cost sharing committee met, the facilitator should have been running the meeting, and from my understanding, it got clearly taken over by individuals who had already come in. It was clear that they had talked, they had information in their hands that was different from what the facilitator put out. And to me, that shows that those people were meeting ahead of time and together. There were hundreds of Gray residents who signed the petition, and they're expecting, as they should, the members of the Gray Cost Sharing Committee to represent them, the residents, with their best interests. I don't believe this happened. Sam Feifel, who's a member of the school board and is supposed to represent the town of Gray, was one of those individuals who came in with prepared number different than the facilitator. And I do have some serious concerns about a couple things. One is, the matter is really between the towns, so I'm not sure why we're meeting at the school. We should be meeting someplace else. I don't think other school board as well as town council members should be there, or the superintendent. I feel that could be intimidating. Also, I know on April 13th, Mr. Feifel said that he was going to run for the House seat, and I think the current situation is a serious conflict of interest, as Sam is running for a seat in the Maine House of Representatives in District 104, which covers part of Gray and all of New Gloucester. Based on his actions of coming up with different figures to present, this would at least visually provide a benefit to New Gloucester instead of the town. He is supposed to represent Gray, and it would appear on the surface he is more focused on winning votes from the town of New Gloucester than he is representing the town of Gray. Based on this serious conflict, I would ask that Sam respectfully step down from the position and allow somebody else that represents Gray on the school board to take over, and I feel like not doing so is going to taint this entire process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren?
Good evening. I want to remind everybody that the first half of your property taxes are due on October 1st. And last meeting I mentioned that we were in the process of hiring some positions, and that is going very well. We've been conducting interviews, and I expect that we'll have some pretty fabulous employees on board soon.
Fantastic. Are we doing? I don't have even the presentation. Okay, at this time, we are going to move forward with the presentation.
Are there department reports?
No, I don't know why that's under there, to be honest with you. We don't,
Checking.
That's a good, that's, yeah, fair, we should,
yeah,
Ann's correct. Should-
no, there are not.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. Thank you, sorry.
No, no worries. If we can throw up the
One
presentation.
hot second.
And while that comes up, I will give some color to the emails that you had received. We were under the impression that tonight was going to be a first read of this ordinance, so I'm going to try to abbreviate this and make the presentation as quick as I can, because I think everybody here has seen it the first time. So there's a couple, I believe the new counselors were in the room at the time of the first one. Okay, just Pam. Sorry. Sorry, Judy. I will then. Oh, sorry. I am Andy Barheit, 45 Knudsen Road. I sit on the Town of Gray Resiliency Committee, and we've been working on this water ordinance for quite a while, over a year. One thing that you will notice that has changed is the name. There actually already existed a surface water protection ordinance in the Town of Gray, so we have changed our name to avoid confusion. If we can go to the next slide, Kyle. We're going to talk about phosphorus. Phosphorus loading is one thing that threatens our lakes and water bodies here in the Town of Gray, and that is driven based off of wastewater runoff, erosion, and just general byproducts of things that people use on their home lawns, salt from roads, things like that. It all contributes to the loading in the water quality of our lakes and water bodies. You can see here a picture of the green algae bloom on Lake Kanasatka in New Hampshire. One of the examples that we gave last time was this lake where an aluminum treatment was taken or undergone at the expense of the taxpayers of over $1.5 million. I believe it was $1.7 million total. Next slide, Kyle, if we can. So what we're advocating for here on the Resiliency Committee is preventative action over reaction. Every dollar invested in resiliency saves $13 for the taxpayers overall. So what we're trying to put forward is something that is manageable for people who work and live in our communities, but also protects the things that drive economic success in Gray. If we can go to the next one, Kyle. We have another example of a Lake Auburn's 2012 fish kill. And this is a different lake, even closer to home this time, that in 2012 experienced a fish kill that set the water back quite a bit. But the difference here is in Lake Auburn, this is a drinking water reservoir, and over 80% of this lake is not populated. So even in an unpopulated lake, this can happen. And the environmental analysis from this fish kill that came out after that found that the major contributor was the public works salting one of the roads that ran approximate or very close to that watershed, and all of the runoff went into the lake and caused this algae bloom. Once these things start, you don't know when they're going to start, and the tipping point is basically unknown. So we're kind of playing with something we don't know when it could happen, but we have indicators. So Kyle, if we can go to the next slide, that's why we're trying to get this now. Gray's shoreland zoning isn't actually enough. We are not, we're not first to this. We're honestly kind of last. This shoreland zone only protects about 250 feet of water frontage around Gray's lakes and water bodies that include streams that feed those lakes. So, but in that space, 25% of our assessed value comes from those properties. And so we need some sort of protection. Those are established. Those properties, if you don't own a spot on the lake at this point, you've probably got to pay to get one. And that's, showing in our values here. Falmouth and Wyndham have, as I said, have already adapted these. We are joined tonight by Dennis Brown, who's from the Highland Lake Association, as well as sits on Wyndham's Natural Resources Advisory Group. And they've been helpful in allowing us to try to find a way to scale back theirs. Theirs is a little bit more restrictive than what we're trying to propose here. So we're trying to put something forward right now because, next slide, Kyle. In the most recent analysis of the lakes, these are just Little Sebago and Crystal Lakes, but a lake vulnerability assessment was done recently by Cumberland County Soil and Water. And one of the red identified areas that we need to work on to improve our lake and water body health is runoff pollution, which is exactly what we're targeting here. That does not solve all of the other concerns. We are targeting one specific thing with one specific ordinance. So we're trying to not necessarily bite off the whole elephant right now, but do one thing that will make a small difference and will set us up for success in the future. And over that time, Little Sebago Lake has invested over $80,000 in milfoil reduction per year, and Crystal Lake has spent $16,000 of the, so those are both just the lake associations. They have spent a ton of their own money trying to prevent and protect their water bodies, and we need to also contribute in what ways we can, which is, in this case, it can be an ordinance where we can control what is going up and what is being put out there for protection, and that's what we can control. Next slide, please, Kyle. So the next slide here is, last time I showed a bit of a hard graph to read. This one I think is a lot more straightforward. It is the Highland Lake case study, but you can see over time, you know, they've been monitoring the lake quality for a long time. There was a project that spoke, or that increased the fish entering of the lake. And at that same time, I believe a lot of development was happening around Highland Lake. So those two things contributed to that, not exponential, but quite steep rise that you see there. And then the algae bloom happened at the peak of that, graph. And as soon as the watershed project happened, or started happening, you see that that line start to tail off quite a bit. So there are local examples of ordinances like this and watershed projects like this happening and helping to improve and reduce the efforts, or reduce the occurrences of algae blooms. And I don't believe you've had an algae bloom since that time.
We have not.
Okay, thank you. Next slide, please, Kyle. So this is the surface water, oh, sorry, this is not. this on this slide. This is the water quality ordinance, water quality protection ordinance. If we go to the next slide. And the whole purpose of this is to prevent phosphorus-laden runoff from entering our lakes and waterways through design and implementation of a project. So that means during construction, during building of a driveway, during something that disturbs the earth, that is a vulnerable time for the erosion. When the earth is disturbed, there's not anything there that's holding it in place, like a grass or a buffer or something like that. It prevents, or it allows that sediment to freely roam when rain happens, if we ever get any rain. It'd be nice if we did. Next slide, please. So these are the highlights. It's a lot of words on one slide. I tried to bring it back into one slide this time because this will all be in the ordinance itself. But it applies to 1,000 feet of the high water mark of any great pond and within 250 feet of a normal high water mark of all other water bodies except feeder streams. So that's 500 feet. So that's what the agreed upon language with the town's lawyer was. So sorry if it seems complicated. Basically, it extends the zone from 250 feet beyond the water body to 1,000 feet beyond the water body of a lake. and 500 feet of a stream that feeds that lake. And what that means is, there are some exemptions, but what that means is any project, what that mean, house that is getting an addition that expands the footprint of that house, a project that will create impervious area, which is a term that means a surface that is hydrophobic or water will run away from, so a driveway or another similar type thing that sheets water off it. Those are going to create runoff. That's the way that it works in hydrogeology. So there are some exemptions to this, and there were some adjustments made to those exemptions based on feedback from the OAC as well as the assessor. So we've included in this version of the ordinance the areas and parcels in tree growth that abut the lake or fall within this zone, because they are protected by the state of Maine in a different way, and we can't go over that. And then we've adjusted the language based on feedback from the OAC. But I think all of that will be covered in the first read. And I'm not going to read the exemptions to you because nobody needs to hear me stumble on that. Next slide, please, Kyle. Visually, what does that look like? So this is the road that I live on. This is Knudsen Road. And at the bottom of the road itself, it is just all these lake roads are bowls for the most part. They all run down into the lake. That's why they formed. And you can see here that the shoreland zone ends right about where that stop sign is on that picture. 1,000 feet goes up that hill that is extremely steep. And visually, I can see water running down at any time it rains. It doesn't matter how hard. There are channels and ruts along the side of that road, and all of that dirt, all of that salt and sand and just loose stone from this dirt road is running right into that lake at the end, at any water event, any rain event. So that's just one road in the town, in one lake. Almost every road and every lake in town has various examples of this, if not most of the roads. So next slide, please, Kyle. One of the other new additions to this, again, is the GIS map here with all of the new proposed zone called out. But I've also added a table of the full acreage of the town, the total water bodies in the town compared to that total acreage. So we have about 6%, rounding up, of water in the total acreage of Gray. There are 10,000 acres covered in the town of Gray under this ordinance. That's 36%. 4.8% of that in the setback is in tree growth, which means that it would need to have a whole bunch of other things done that I'm not totally qualified to talk about, but Lauren could definitely tell you how you get a parcel out of tree growth. So that is basically untouchable land for the moment, and we can't do anything with that. However, within that 36%, 10% of that is already in shoreland zoning. So that is already covered. What we're proposing, that new affected area, is 6,000 acres, 6,250 acres, and that's 22%. So that's the buffer that would increase by changing this to 1,000 feet. And really what that is, there's 1,700 total properties in that parcel, in the zone, according to the GIS maps that we are given from the town, and 31 tree growth parcels within that zone. Next slide, Kyle. So what does that mean for all those 36% of the land? We need them to go into the code enforcement office, have a conversation with Tammy, and show them that they have a plan to prevent water from exiting their site to their best of their ability. That means that there are some simple, and I work in construction, there are simple things that you can do. You can put up a silt fence, you can put up, if you're cutting down trees, you can grind them and grind those stumps into what's called an ECM berm and put that around your site, and that actually does a job of filtering out that water from the sand and silt and sediment that would escape. The water still flows through, but some of that bad stuff, that phosphorus, those nutrients get caught. So basically they would need to show up to the town, talk to Tammy, show them a plan. If they need to go on a site visit to do their building permit anyway, and Tammy sees something, or the code enforcement officer, whoever it is, sees something and says, hey, what about that hill there? That seems steeper than, or it'll send water towards that lake. What do you think we should do about that? And it's just a conversation. That's the whole intent, is to have a conversation, but we have to have some guardrails and guidelines to back that up in case somebody doesn't come back and get a permit for this, or doesn't do what they need to do in protecting a valuable resource for everybody in the town. Because everybody in the town loves going out on the lake or enjoying, the beautiful atmosphere that we have here in town. I think we can all agree on that one. Next slide, please, Kyle. So this is just a quick flow chart. I ran through it the last time, but you've got it in your packets. You can look through it. I tried to break it down into simple steps of yes, no questions. And, if you have a yes, what do you need to do? So I think, that's in our view as the committee, we think this is how the whole project should work, the whole ordinance should work, and that's the intent. Go ahead, next slide, please. So again, these are just some visual examples of these temporary protections. The picture on the left is a silt fence and the proper way to install it per the Maine State Handbook on Civil Engineering, and a good example of an ECM berm built to prevent water runoff out of a site there. And the main thing is that you have to maintain them and keep them up, and everybody who knows what they're doing and is worth the price you're paying them to be the contractor in your job is going to do this anyway. So there's no real negative to somebody who's going to do the job right. It's just to try to have some enforcement around people who cut corners. Next slide, please. And eventually you don't need these things because you have what's called permanent stabilization. That means root systems to hold that soil in place. So grass, little tree growth, low growth bushes, native plants would be ideal, but they don't necessarily have to be. Just something to hold all that in place. A mulch bed. You can use this as an opportunity to put a beautiful garden that you can still see the lake over, from your lawn. Everything should work together. All right, I think that's the last slide, and I didn't do too bad.
Got a quick question. How many homes, do you know how many homes are on Little Sebago, roughly?
On Little Sebago, I don't have that.
Wow, okay.
I was gonna say Pam said that.
Okay.
And then I saw Cheryl too. Do you know Crystal Lake?
Yeah, about 140.
140.
Shoreline.
And then Sandy, do we know the other ones? Forest, we don't know.
Not too long. It's
And Notcher, yeah.
do you have them?
165 homes there as well.
On what lake is that?
Forest Lake. Oh, sorry, yeah. I didn't. Any other questions?
Yes. Can I go?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
Is that Mike? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
go for
Mike,
it,
sorry. I was like, who's that?
Yeah, okay, no, yeah.
right?
Thank you. When Ann came and presented to our road association meeting last year, she mentioned that we were probably going to have to hire another code enforcement officer. Is that still true?
That was not the intent of the ordinance, and we did not build it that way.
Okay.
Sandy.
Actually, that was one of the, when we were looking at.
Sandy,
what-
could you just identify yourself?
Yeah, sorry, Sandy Carter, 186 Shaker Road in Gray. I'm the chair of the Resiliency Committee. When we were working on the ordinance originally, the ordinance that we received to start with was the Wyndham ordinance, and if you read that, as he said, it's a little bit more restrictive. They have a credit system in place where you have to earn a certain number of credits by doing certain things. And so it's a little bit more administratively taxing for the code enforcement officer. If you read our ordinance, we don't have any of that in there. And the reason why we don't is we worked with Tammy to make sure that we were staying within current staffing models. So in other words, she felt that this is already something that she is working with. In other words, if somebody's remodeling or building a house, they're already having a conversation with code. And so this is an extra step for them to make sure that their plan includes this erosion protection. And so she felt there would be no impact to the code enforcement staffing from this ordinance.
And what's the extra cost to a homeowner?
I think he asked if there was additional cost to the homeowner. I mean, the goal is to have the conversation in the design phase. And so instead of having lawn go all the way to the end, you might have to buy dwarf blueberry shrubs or something to that effect. But generally speaking, we had a new homeowner on Crystal Lake, and unfortunately we got to him too late. He had already, I don't know if anybody's seen that house. It's a perfect example of why we need the 1,000 feet instead of the 250. It's one of the few new houses on Mayberry Road, but it's across the street from the lake. And it sits not only across the street from the lake, but right abuts the feeder stream that goes into the lake. And if you look at the property, it literally, the house is up here and everything just slides either down this way into the stream or straight into the road, which goes into the lake. And so it's a perfect example of this ordinance. And we actually had a conversation with the homeowners. A contractor was building it, and the homeowner didn't move in until later. They already had a package as part of their build. And so they have a landscaping package with their builder. And so they said, well, we've already paid and designed for X, Y, and Z. But if this conversation is happening at the permit process, then that homeowner, and that's the other big piece of our ordinance, is this is a huge educational opportunity. This was people that had moved from another town that had not been on water before. And so it was a great way to explain to them that small things that they can do can protect their asset, which is their property value. That property value is derived from that beautiful lake. And so if you have an algae bloom or a fish kill, then you're losing value because you're not gonna be able to sell that house. There's a lot of house on a little Sebago Cove that has that milfoil infestation on Big Sebago. And so you see a lot of houses for sale on that little cove. And if you go down to the water, you think, oh, I'm buying this house on this beautiful cove, and it's just full of milfoil. And so all of a sudden you're like, okay, am I paying that price for this water? So that's kind of the process. So long answer to a short question, it shouldn't. We can't say that it won't 100% because depending on what they choose, it could cost them a little bit more. But that's a conversation they have with code. As long as they're meeting the requirement, then they're not going to say you have to plant X, Y, and Z, but you have to come up with some way.
But there's no extra permitting cost.
Say that again?
There's no extra permitting cost?
I don't think Tammy was anticipating any additional fee for this permit. We never discussed that. She isn't here tonight, obviously, to answer that herself. But they're already applying and paying for a building permit, and so this is just an additional permit that would go along with that building permit. So I don't think so, but again, she isn't here, but she never proposed that to us as part of the ordinance.
And my last question is, don't they already require a silt fence?
I think, so if you look at the exemptions, and if you're in the shoreland zone, she can have that conversation, but my understanding from her is that she can't have the erosion conversation if it's outside the 250, because there isn't an ordinance requiring that conversation. And so that, I think, is the difference.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the other thing, yeah, that's, the other thing from just going back to the cost, because Pam is adding a little bit to that conversation, is most of the erosion control landscaping that you're doing is less maintenance because it is preventing erosion. So for example, if you didn't put up a fence and your lawn just ended, or you didn't have shrubs and your lawn just ended, as it rains, that dirt at the end is going to start eroding away, and you're going to be bringing in loam or having to have that lawn repaired repeatedly. But if you have dwarf shrubs along the edge of your lawn where that soil drops into the water, it'll just hold that there for you, and then you're not doing that maintenance. So long-term, there might be a little more cost up front, but long-term, it should be a little less in maintenance. Anything else, Michael?
I'm all set, thank you.
Cool.
Oh, I have a question. So, like, is this something that's gonna be enforced? Like, I mean, like if they have the conversation, Sandy, Tammy has the conversation with the applicant that's taken out the permit?
Yeah, so
Is-
what would
Go ahead.
happen is if somebody is coming in for the building permit and now that you saw that map that we had the GIS, that would be put in their maps, then the code enforcement officer would know, okay, that's in that zone, so I'm going to have a conversation with them about the erosion control. Does that answer your question?
Well, I'm just saying, if they have the conversation, what is the consequence if they don't, is there, I mean, what do we, is this just a conversation and you hope that they do it?
No, I mean, they're committing to doing it. It would be part of their commitment as far as, and
She's
I
saying, are
think
there
that's
any
the second.
fines?
Right.
Yeah,
there's fines.
It
Yeah.
says $100 a day on here.
Yeah, it's in the,
Yeah.
So
Is
Yeah.
it in there? Yeah, so, yeah, so if they didn't do it, I mean, the goal would be is you're coming in for your building permit, and you're gonna have that conversation to get your water quality permit at the same time. And then, obviously, code goes out anytime you do that to make sure that you're following the plan that you submitted to them. And if you're not following the plan.
I'm just gonna
Right,
say,
in the
I worked
perfect
in the
world.
code office, so
Yeah.
I know that that is not always the case.
Yeah, I mean, enforcing, it's kind of a balance. I've been on the council myself, and that's always the push and pull of it,
Yep.
is you put the ordinance on there so that you can have that opportunity to have the conversation, and, 85–90% of the people want to do the right thing, and then you have the others. And then, you're right, there's only so much time in a day, they're not going to be able to catch everything, but I think the biggest part of our ordinance is that educational piece, is to have that conversation, because I think even when we went before, we brought all of this along with our watershed management plan to Lake Association meetings. And even people who have been living on the lake for a while, when we did our presentation, came up afterwards and were like, can you just explain a little bit more? I have X, Y, and Z. Is that sufficient, or can I do something else? There is a program that's free to all lake on the shore. It's called Lake Smart. There's a great website for anybody who's watching and does want more information. They will send volunteers to your house and they'll do a full audit. There's no obligation, there's no reporting to anyone. They're simply there to help you better understand your property and the water runoff. And they will give you a whole list of things that you can do if you choose to protect your investment and to protect the lake. So there's a lot on there. We have on our website now, thank you, Kyle, part of our grant for the watershed management plan was to do some educational videos. So anybody watching can go on the town website, go to the Resiliency Committee page, and watch our 5 educational videos. And as Andy said before, this is like one step. It's like one tool in your tool belt. We have material that we want to hand out. We've done those videos. How do we get to people who already live on the lake and aren't doing these projects? Like, that's a big nut to crack. Like, how can we help get that information to them so that they can do more to protect the lakes? Private roads, huge nut to crack, because private roads are very expensive, and it's a limited number of people funding private roads, but what can they do to help prevent runoff into the lakes? So there's a lot more work to do. This is like step 1. Well, watershed management plan was step 1. Thank you very much for approving that. This is step 2.
Yeah, so basically what you're asking for here, are you already doing these limitations on the 250-foot setback?
Yeah, they're kind of already having that conversation, and that list of exemptions that you see, a lot of those that are on there are exempt because they're already part of it. So if somebody's going through the planning board, or they have a certain level of development going in, or they meet a certain criteria, they already have to come up with an erosion control plan. And so the code enforcement officer doesn't need to do anything extra in any of those examples. Tree growth is managed by the state, and so there are requirements by the state to cover tree growth. So again, that's something we don't need to get involved in.
So basically what you're trying to do is move the 250 line down to back to 1,000.
To 1,000 around the four lakes.
That's a lot of distance.
Yeah, the data is in there. That's why we did the GIS map. It was a great question that we got, is how many property owners does that impact? And the reason, again, is if you drive around Little Sebago, Crystal, Forest, there is very limited, if any, open space around the lakes anymore. So that erosion, that phosphorus, and that loading and that development is happening is what we call second tier. And it's actually pushed out to third tier. Some communities want to do, Highland has their entire watershed covered in their ordinance. So it's the entire watershed. It's not, I don't even know how many feet that would be.
It could be a couple of miles.
Could be a couple of miles. And that's why we're going where the action is, so to speak. The new houses, that Crystal Lake house is the perfect example. It's Mayberry. You just don't see a lot of new building. You see some reconstruction on Crystal Lake going on, but not new builds. But this is a new build, but it's across the street, so it's outside that realm, and it's not getting caught. It's not getting...
I tried to pull your code thing up, the little square thing, and it wouldn't come up. It came up as an error. I did
Oh,
it
the
on 2 different
QR
computers.
code?
Yeah, that little square.
Oh, at
thing.
the end?
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe if you print it out on paper and then
No,
do
I
it.
even tried to do the website thing, and it didn't come up either.
Oh. We'll have Kyle.
Just so you know.
We can take a look.
So can I just ask, what about people that already, like we just talked about, already don't have these safeguards? I mean, you're not pushing to try to do like
There's no way for us to have
backwards.
No,
or
what we're
anything.
trying to do, what we do there is the Lake Association meetings.
Okay.
Where the Resiliency Committee is, we've been at the Gray Community Day. We weren't able to do the Blueberry Festival this year just because we had conflicts, but we're at the Blueberry Festival every year to have those conversations. So we're considering doing some type of resiliency fair or forum in the next 12 months. Our committee's kind of putting that idea, we just literally just started talking about it, but just to get all of this information in one place and have people come back out to us. So there is no way to do that. I think Wyndham is considering, is there a way when the property changes hands, like if it gets sold, is there an opportunity for us to get some educational material to the new owner? But there's no way for us to know that. Builds, we know, because they have to come in. They're already coming in to code and talking to code, so.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I just would add, I mean, you got to start somewhere. You can't come up with an ordinance that's going to meet every need and every situation, but this is definitely an issue. I mean, I walked around Notched Pond on the west side. There's a road that parallels the lake shore, and I hadn't done that walk in a while, and I was surprised to see a number of entry points of that road. I don't know whether they're boat launches or what, but where they just went straight down a long slope directly into the lake. I mean, I guarantee you there's a lot of debris getting washed into Notched Pond from those, and that's happening everywhere. And also I saw, again, I hadn't been on this road in a while, development happening on the other side of the lake, on the other side of this road from the lake, up steep slopes, and that's initially what Pam Wilkinson and the Little Sebago Lake Association and Cheryl Welch also and Crystal Lake Association brought to us initially, is like that's what they're seeing. There is no more, or there's very little available developable space on the lakefront anymore. As Sandy said, yes, sometimes people tear down old cottages and build new year-round homes, but the action is happening back away from the lake. But it's the nature of lakes is that they're bowls. They're there to collect water, and there's slopes that go up from them. And when property owners destabilize the soil, whether they're removing trees or building a driveway or, building a foundation, putting in a foundation, that soil disturbance, if there's nothing to prevent that from, the soil from getting washed in the lake, it's going to go there. And we have seen increasingly, not just in Maine, but around the country, rain events where you might get 4, 8, 12 inches of rain in an hour. And it's, a gentle summer rain, yeah, maybe you won't create much damage, but those severe storm events are gonna create a lot of damage. They're gonna wash a lot of debris into the lake. And so that's what this is designed to prevent. And really just to elevate the level of understanding about what is a watershed, what is phosphorus, how can I prevent it? The example that Sandy brought up on Mayberry, those folks have like 6 dogs or something. I mean, five
little ones. My dog sets them off every time.
Dog waste is a huge contributor to phosphorus. So I mean, it's just the Resiliency has done yeoman service to try to educate people. We also have a couple of games that we can bring into the schools. They're the same game, but two copies of them that help to illustrate watersheds, and we can use those for at Lake Association meetings, at Road Association meetings in the schools, or wherever we get invited to do that. But I just think it's really important to educate people, because there's, when it goes fast, and it's really expensive to fix. And the fix isn't just one time, it's year after year after year. And there's no guarantee it'll work. So it's as Andy said, it's, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I think this is the right decision.
Yeah, and just to add to that, and I won't go into detail, but up in China, there was a lake up there, and it's also Maine, and I think Lake Smart has a video about it on their website. So it's a great example where people had been going up there for generations, and they packed up their house in the fall, and they went in the spring, and the lake was green. And they had no clue what was going on, and so it was like a all hands on deck emergency situation, and their education just bloomed, and they were the first ones to admit they had no clue that they were damaging their lake this whole time. And if they had known, they would have done some small things to make it better. So if you're interested. So we're presenting today. We hope you consider moving it to first read so that we can move forward. But if you have any additional questions, we're available.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, at this point, we are going to open up public comments of non-agenda items. The public is invited to address the council on items not listed on tonight's agenda. Speakers may also comment on agenda items before the town council deliberation begins. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and each person may speak once unless recognized by the chair to clarify or provide new information. Public comment is not intended for debate and will close as soon as new information is available. So at this point, would anybody like to come up and speak?
Pam Wilkinson, Birchwood Road. I would just like, on my visual status, I'm part of the Resiliency Committee, helping to give information. But what I see is why I'm here. I look out, I know we have contractors, I know Adam has come and done work on our roads, and instead of doing the straight shot, he does this nice little curve where the water runs off, and it doesn't come down to the road and go across to streams and then eventually bogs and then to the lake. And then I see across my cove is somebody that's got some nice lawn, straight shot to the lake, that was there, has been there forever. But across the street, we have a new house that's been built, took all the trees down in front, all of them. And then that straight shot is like a sluiceway across the road down to the lake. And beside that, it's a nice house, there's a road going in. And the road is straight, and it goes across the road and goes to the lake. Then I see houses on the far left going south. It's a nice house houses going across the street, and they've cut all the trees. And then the next one's cutting the trees. And I mean, tree management's great, but the canopy's gone. And if we don't have something to kind of inform people of the detriment they're creating, then there's no way of protection. And I really wish you would consider this as a first step and making sure that we reach out to people that don't know, and then people that, and I really believe it may be a little bit more upfront with a little cost here and there, maybe a shrub, a plant, whatever it is, a rain garden. It might cost you a little bit extra, but it's going to capture that water, and it's not going to run into the lake, and it actually is going to look pretty. So, and then you won't be repeating the effects of having to refill the driveway, refill this, and then you're not degrading the lake and the water quality in the town of Gray. So hopefully you'll consider this as a positive first read.
Thank you.
Adam Wilkinson, Weymouth Road, Gray. I just wrote some notes down. I figured I'd present some information of my own, just to be fully transparent on my part as well. This proposed ordinance will expand town oversight beyond the current 250-foot setback for lakes and 75-foot setback for NRPA streams, which aligns with DEP standards and what DEP recommends. The new proposed setbacks would be 1,000 feet from lakes, 500 feet for feeder streams into lakes, with the remaining streams increasing to 250 feet, 250-foot setback. When talking about streams, it's both sides. So if it's a 500-foot setback on one side, it's 500 on the other. So it's a 1,000-foot swath. This ordinance will require an additional permit for any soil disturbance over 1,500 square feet and any additions to buildings greater than 200 square feet on the ground floor within these new setbacks. For example, a septic system replacement is routinely larger than 1,500 square feet. So for a property owner, would get a regular septic replacement permit and an additional stormwater permit. This is not for just for new construction. This will impact residents just maintaining their properties and the amount of town staff needed to oversee and issue the permitting. With the proposed new setbacks, the number of parcels that would be affected is approximately 2,201 parcels in Gray. That was my own GIS information that I got from a professional GIS guy. There are approximately 5,100 parcels in Gray, so that would affect roughly 43% of all the parcels in Gray. That's almost half. Many of these parcels are not anywhere near lakes, and owners probably have no idea this ordinance is being proposed or how it will affect them. This ordinance is geared towards lakes, but a high percentage of properties affected will be nowhere near a lake. I used data from the 2019 Highland Lake Watershed Survey to provide some light on the numbers. Highland Lake is one of the more documented and active lake associations locally that I could find. They have ample information and they compare geographically to our lakes and waterways, and this is what I found. A watershed survey around Highland Lake was conducted and found, back in 2019, was conducted and found 129 sites that were or could negatively affect the lake. Each site was categorized as low, medium, or high impact site. The 129 sites were broken into 9 categories: residential, private road, boat access, driveway, trailer path, construction site, town road, beach access, and stream crossing. Residential driveways and beaches made up 61% of the problematic sites. Boat access, trails, and construction site, private roads, town roads, and stream crossings made up 25% of the sites. Boat access, trails, and construction sites made up the remaining 14% of the sites. Important note, of the 129 total sites, construction sites made up only 2% of the sites. Of the 9 categories observed, construction sites were the only category out of 9 with... I got a little bit left, but...
Thank you, Adam.
Sandy Carter again. I just want to clarify on the streams that it has to be a delineated stream on the GIS map for the town. And that is a little confusing. You're like, what? So if you're just walking through the woods and you see a stream, it's not necessarily delineated on the map. The DEP has to come to town and review a stream to consider or classify it as a stream. and it has to meet a certain level of requirements in order to be delineated by the DEP, and then it can be added to the town map. So when we did our stream analysis, we did have somebody come and look at the feeder streams around, and you'll see on the map that we provided, just to have this additional information, the feeder streams that are on there are the delineated streams. So there may be other streams, but if they're not on the GIS map, they're not. Yes, right. But they have, again, they have to be on the GIS. They have to be delineated for the code enforcement officer to be able to enforce the ordinance. Just to clarify, yeah.
Cool.
Some people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Rick Light, 35 France Circle. Question. We have 3 minutes to talk about all the phosphorus, but also other items. Is this our opportunity?
So we're not going to say, yes, you have 3 minutes to talk about any non-agenda items, but obviously the presentation, you can talk about that as well.
Okay, I got a couple things I wanted to talk about. But anyway, I guess I'll start with the prior presentation. I would start off with the council to support and move to a first read, and I think the committee has done a terrific job presenting this and putting this together. The thing about, I think with this, I work in stormwater, have for many, many decades. I design stormwater, inspect it, work with construction, have been involved with more construction projects than you could ever imagine. And what this ordinance does, we keep talking about the lakefront and people in the lakefronts, and shoreland zone covers that. The trees that were cut, violation of shoreland zone straight out, guarantee you, unless they were dead. This is talking about if you're in the, I mean, hopefully the language is right, if you're in the watershed of a lake, if you're 1,000 feet away and the continental divide is 300 feet and you're draining another way to, it's not in a lake watershed, it shouldn't really apply. So hopefully the language is clear about that, I would think. If you're in the lake watershed and you're within 1,000 feet and you're a third of a mile away from here to downtown Gray to the center of the village is probably 800 feet or so, you get an idea. And you're doing a project, you don't typically think about, and it's been talked about that, you don't typically think about what you're doing is affecting the lake because you can't see the lake. And you don't own property on a lake. I live a mile and a half from a lake. I get to go down to it every now and then, but I don't see the lake. So I think this sort of emphasizes practical things that you should be doing anyway. It's sort of like proper lawn care. We all know about that, and not over, using herbicides. It's thinking about, making you think about through a process, geez, I'm 1,000 feet away. I know I'm not the guy in the lake with the driveway that's just blowing in the lake, but my little piece of the world is contributing. I'm doing this shed project, and I've got all this exposed dirt. These aren't things that are asking you to do something different. If you're not doing these things, we need to educate people on what you should be doing. These are best management practices. We go around the state, we do these all the time. It's not a big deal. If you're growing a lawn, if you're smart, you put mulch down when you're done with it and you water it, right? If you don't put the mulch down, you're wasting your time because you're going to get a rain, it's going to wash away. Some of these things are so ridiculously simple. It's not adding cost in a large degree. So I just want people to think about it as 1,000 feet, you're not talking about the guys on the waterfront that are covered by shoreland zone. You're talking about people that may be up in the woods and don't really recognize that they are contributing. And so I think the whole process is let's think differently about how you manage your land. And when you do small projects, it does have an impact. I know my 3 minutes are running out. So anyway, hopefully the committee, the council will support that. Is that me?
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately.
Darn, okay. Well, anyway, thank you.
Thank you for coming up.
Like
Yep.
him to come back
On another topic.
He had 3 like
I know.
Hi, I'm Dennis Brown. I actually live in Falmouth, and but as mentioned, I've been working with the committee here in the town of Gray and Little Sebago Lake and Crystal Lake and Forest Lake for about 3 years. We've had some terrific success, and we went with 1,000 feet as opposed to the entire watershed because that just seemed overly burdensome. But studies have shown that on Lake Champlain, they've been able to trace phosphorus from 40 miles away. So it's not something that's just on the waterfront. And the other thing I think is important to share too is that this actually goes beyond what's in the first 250 feet. So even those people will be impacted. There's things they can do now that wouldn't trigger extra erosion control. Yes, during construction, but there's more that they're gonna have to pay attention to as a result of this ordinance. The other thing that's really important is this can't work just with the lake association. Education alone won't work. The lake associations alone can't do it, and the ordinance alone can't do it. It's very clearly, from my experience, a three-legged stool. And it's going to take really good cooperation between the lake associations, the town, and the ordinance. If people don't want to listen to the education and stuff, when they go in to do a project, they learn about it, and it starts to spread, and people start to understand, wow, this is how this all works. So I think it's really important that it takes all three. And having worked with these folks, I'm really comfortable that you'll have lake associations working very closely with the town to make this happen.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else like to come up to speak?
Any other water quality before
We do have someone online, just FYI.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
Is it water quality? Because maybe they should go first.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, Bob Coleman, Valley High Road. I've got a lot to say. I'll be quick. I wrote it out so I'd be faster. On August 20th, a story was posted on the town website and sent to residents. Subscribe for email updates that said, and I quote, "The town of Gray's FY27 property tax has been set at $10.45 per $1,000 of assessed value. This is a small increase over last year's tax rate of $9.68, unquote. I submit that the characterization of this increase as small is an example of the bias that has been raised in recent meetings. The increase of 77 cents does not seem like much, but it represents a 7.9% increase over last year's mill rate. The consumer price index in the last year went up 3.4%. Our tax increase is more than twice what the CPI did over the last 12 months. To some who believe larger government, believe in a larger government, more police protection, top of the line schools, the nearly 8% increase may represent a small increase. But to the young family who is struggling to make ends meet, to a property owner who has saw their paycheck increase by only 2% this past year, and to an elderly person on a fixed income, an 8% increase is huge. The housing affordability crisis we are dealing with did not happen from one big event. It happened from a death by 1,000 cuts. I would ask that we remove the unnecessary and inaccurate adjective small from the post, and we publish the percentage of the increase, 7.9%, and allow taxpayers to decide on their own whether it is a small increase or a large increase. Different topic. At the last meeting, there was a discussion about limiting the height of solar panels, and the discussion seemed to land on perhaps allowing higher heights in commercial districts only. I understand the concern about having a big, huge solar array right next to your house, but I would encourage the council to not limit these altogether on residential properties. I own 145 acres, and surely I can find a place to put one of these solar panels away from my property line. So my encouragement would be that if you're afraid of having it next to the properties, then make that the rule, that you can't put it within a certain distance of the property line. Don't limit them altogether. Every time we tell landowners that they can't do something, we reduce landowner rights that we've, it's essentially the death by 1,000 cuts. And then thirdly, at the last council meeting, there was discussion about possibly limiting or reducing the amount of time citizens may speak at this meeting. I would encourage council not to do that.
There we go. That couldn't have been better.
I encourage you not. No. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my
We
God.
got it.
Got it. Oh my God.
Perfect timing.
Would anyone else like to come up and speak?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shoot.
Hi, Maureen Gilbert on Dutton Hill. I'm not sure if any of you have been following the rebuilding of the snack shack at the high school. last year the boosters started to raise funds to replace the existing shack with a plan that it would be funded entirely by donations. Money was donated from individual citizens and businesses. The boosters, in particular President Tiffany Chandler, did an amazing job of raising money and getting it rebuilt over the summer. What has impressed me most, other than the hard work from the booster volunteers, is how the community has really come together. It's really inspiring to see all these companies lend their support. It's staggering the amount of local companies that have donated time and materials. It's got to be like thousands of dollars for some of these companies. Some of these companies did a little bit more than were asked. One company actually paved all the way to the bleachers, which has been a muddy mess for years. If you go from the snack shack to the bleachers, you're looking at me like, what are you talking about? And then around the memorial, it looks really good, that memorial right by the track. It's been all cleaned up so you can actually see it. So you can look at all of this information. Boosters have a Facebook and Instagram page. So I just wanted to share that because I think it's a really great testament to the Gray New Gloucester communities. And I think it's going to be exciting if any of you go to any of these athletic events. Take a look at it because it's pretty cool. I'm impressed. And then I also just wanted to follow back up on the ad hoc committee for the sheriff's contract. I believe the last time it was mentioned was in the July 13th meeting with the agreement that the committee would be formed. I'd like to see a progress update at the next town council meeting so that we can finalize that plan and that work can get started. It'll take time to kind of, go through everything, and budget season's right around the corner. So it would be really great if we can move this forward quickly. I'd also like to add, I think that a representative from the Sheriff's Department should be included because I think that they can probably answer a lot of questions up front before we go down the road of days and days or weeks and weeks. Just, I guess, to be a little bit more efficient and so we can really focus where we should be. And I think that was it. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to come up to speak? Okay, Kyle.
Okay, Lisa, I'm going to unmute your microphone, or I'll allow your microphone. You can unmute yourself and speak. You can go ahead, Lisa. Lisa, there should be a mic button at the top of Microsoft Teams that probably has a slash through it. You just need to press that button.
Okay, thanks. I was clicking on the microphone by my name. Lisa Elena Gilmore, Portland Road. First off, I'd like to thank Councilman Johnson for giving Grassroots Gray a shout out last meeting. Grassroots Gray is a new organization, and one of our goals is to help inform our neighbors, the residents of Gray, what's going on in town. So when Councilor receives comments via email and attributes them to Grassroots Gray, we know that we are making progress towards one of our goals. So we appreciate the outreach that you offered, and we want to thank you for acknowledging Grassroots Gray Place as an important piece of community involvement, and people can find us online as we continue to share information. I'd also like to reiterate my past request that the council use your up-and-coming retreat to discuss ethics and conduct. A code of conduct is necessary to guide decisions. Having lofty core values like integrity, honesty, and working for the common good, or whatever you all discuss and agree as your core ethical values after you've had an open and honest discussion at the retreat. Whatever those ethics are would be great to hear. Certainly, council has a monumental task of being fiscally responsible while at the same time investing in the town's quality of life. So then going forward, all decisions, especially financial ones, need to be checked against your agreed upon ethics. Each decision needs to be checked back. How can we balance our goal of investing in Gray with the desire to keep taxes down? This is not easy, and weighing the two before making a decision is important without making any knee-jerk decisions. And then there's conduct. Discuss it further in the retreat. Do you believe the council members should be a positive example for our residents in and outside of these chambers? Run through the possible scenarios. Once a decision has been discussed openly in council and voted upon in council, how are council members to conduct themselves? Voice your opinion, present your position on an issue in an open public meeting, discussion before the vote. If the vote ends up not going your way, the way you wanted, how should councilors conduct themselves publicly? Please discuss this at a retreat and come to a consensus. Do you accept council's publicly voted upon decision, or do you publicly trash the council's decision, citing your First Amendment or something? Please, even if you don't write down a code of conduct and a code of ethics, even the act of discussing it will make everything better. Also, I'd like to mention on the side, y'all are mic'd, so the two people that groaned when one of the people walked up to speak, please be careful what you're doing. You are in public, you are on tape, you can be heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to come up to speak? No one? All right, I'm going to go up one more time because I have a new piece of information to give. And it'll be
Shall I be timing you, Vinnie?
it'll be very quick.
Oh, I know. I look at you because I'm waiting for it to go.
Nothing couldn't be any louder.
All right, so again, Vincent, Palange, Poplar Ridge Road. I do want to touch base on one other thing with regards to the cost sharing scenario. There are two independent tiers for education funding. So Maine Public Schools operates under a strict two-step framework. State subsidies and local cost sharing function on separate legal tracks, and they can't be blended together in local formulas. So there's a state tier, it's called EPS, which is Essential Programs and Services. So because New Gloucester has a lower property valuation relative to student count, it generates higher per student subsidy weight than Gray. This is absolutely true. However, this money, and this is key, this money belongs to the district entity and not to either town. The local cost sharing formula is a mathematical mechanism used solely to split this remaining local bill between Gray and New Gloucester. And if you look at statute title 20A subsection 1704, it will tell you that the statute strictly defines cost sharing parameters around resident pupils and state valuations of the municipalities, completely omitting state subsidies from the permissible local calculations. Further, if you go down to legal constraints, it says municipal cost sharing agreements do not possess the statutory authority to alter, include, reallocate, or offset individual town assessments based on the underlying state subsidy metrics. Thank you.
Sue Fuller, Yarmouth Road, Gray. I just want to thank you, Judy, Vinnie, for getting the correct information out because it was vital. You are absolutely correct. We cannot count the state's share. That is state cost sharing. That's the state with the district. What we are looking at is the town of New Gloucester and the town of Gray, that both towns are treated fairly and they pay fairly and evenly over the petition was per student. And so I think we need to look at that because people came and they said that is a possibility. I mean, if I sign this as a possibility, we can change this. It's been this way for 50 years. And I said, yes, we can bring it to the people and they'll have a committee and we can, you know, bring it to a vote. So to cut this off early would be a real disservice. So I believe with all the people that came and signed, we have 800 people, that this needs to be moved forward, and there is a huge conflict of interest which needs to be addressed. So I don't know who's responsible for addressing this and getting it taken care of, but somebody running for office should not be on the cost-sharing committee and not sticking up for Greg and as for New Gloucester. That is absolutely wrong. Everybody needs to work as a team in Gray and New Gloucester and work this out. And then if you can't work it out and it's a tie, they have an administrator that will come in, a third-party administrator, and you'll get to hash it out and then bring what you want to the voters. But it is vital to the town of Gray because for 50 years, Gray has paid for the majority of New Gloucester students, a good chunk of it. They're not supporting their own kids, and we're paying for ours plus theirs. And it is not right. We have a big town here. We have a lot of bills. We have a lot of roads. We need our money. And so this is one way, and I would think New Gloucester residents would want it to be fair. They'd want to step up to the plate and say, yes, this isn't fair. That put it all on the, a good chunk of it on the Gray taxpayers. It needs to change by 10%. We need to be reduced by 10%, and New Gloucester needs to increase it by 10%. I just wanted to say thank you, Vinnie and Judy, because that needed to get corrected, and thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up to speak?
Just a quick question. Are you going to allow comment when you discuss your rules?
Yes, I believe we are today. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to check in case this was my only opportunity.
No. Thank you.
And I'm not sure what happened, but your clock froze with the last reader.
I know, it did that one other time.
All right, beautiful. So, no one else. So I guess at this point, anybody else online, Kyle?
No one who has raised their hand.
All right, great. Thank you very much. So at this point, we are going to close public comment, and we are going to move on to the next item, which happens to be the resolve, let me open this up a little bit so I can read it. Resolve 2627-1, which is reaffirming rules for town council meetings and workshop. And let's see. So the motion is to remove resolve number 2627-1. Let's see. So be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby reaffirms the Town Council rules, Chapter 602, as amended, to remain in full force and effect until amended by future council action from the table. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Perfect. Second. All right, beautiful. Okay, so at this point, we'll put forward a vote. All in favor?
We're just
Mike?
moving it from the table.
Just moving it from the table.
Yeah.
All in favor? Mike? All right, beautiful. And I should, I'm just doing this so I can see your pretty face, Mike. Usually when somebody's online, I'm calling one by one, but I'm just trying to, if everybody's okay with that. So let's see. All right. So at this point, let's open these up for starters. Let's go.
Do we need a motion to?
We do. We need a motion. Now, let's see. So now at this point, let's see. At this point, for forward a vote, all in favor of the council. Oh, if yes, all right, motion be resolved. Okay, I'm just reading through this because it's jumping around a little bit. Okay, now we have the motion be resolved. The Gray Town Council hereby reaffirms the Town Council rules, Chapter 602, as amended to remain in full force and effect until amended by future council action. Do I have a motion?
Vote.
Second. All right, beautiful. All in favor? Okay. So at this time, we'll open up the floor if you'd like to come up. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Before you start the clock on me, can I ask just a quick
You can.
question?
You may.
Are you still following the rules where the chair has the ability to extend a speaker's time?
So we could, yeah. So basically, yes. So basically, if I wanted to have a point of clarification, so if you said something and then we came back later and I said, what did Dan say? That point of clarification, yes. Or if I thought there was a new piece of information that you could bring to the table, we could ask you back up. Or I could ask you back up. Correct.
Well, the only new piece of information I might give you is to beg that I know that what I want to say is going to take longer
Okay.
than 3 minutes.
All right.
But we'll see what happens.
Go right ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. There's been some talk about whether the council needs a code of conduct. It already has one. It's safe to say that everyone here participating at home has attended school, played a sport or game, been a scout or a member of some other youth group, worked for ourselves or others, and held some religious or spiritual belief. And I'm pretty sure everyone probably knows the golden rule. If these are familiar, then we remember that schools have codes of conduct, the times we were good sports, and the pledges some of us might have made as a scout, like I did. We know how to treat our customers and our coworkers, and what religion doesn't have expectations about how we should treat each other in this world. Last but not least, treat each other the way you want to be treated, the golden rule, I'm sure everybody knows. I think we have more in common than we think. My point is simply that we all know how to treat each other respectfully and even kindly. It's just sometimes when our passions, our frustrations, our fears, and our pride overwhelm us that we need help remembering. In the past, there was a town council decorum and order policy. I have it right here. In 2019, a previous council found a lot of duplication between that policy and the rules, and believed that the rules and the way we conduct ourselves are inseparable. So you see, the code wasn't eliminated, it was built into your rules. And here's the heart of it. Your Rule 602.13, which is the council's rules for debate, and I'll quote it. All town councilors shall serve as role models of leadership and civility for the community, as well as to act to inspire public confidence in our municipal government. Councilors shall accord one another, town employees, and the public the utmost courtesy. At all times, councilors shall refrain from rude, derogatory, or abusive comments. They shall not denigrate a person's integrity, motives, or personality. Members of the public and town staff shall observe these same rules of propriety, decorum, and good conduct. Our rules also commit us to use Robert's rules for situations that aren't specifically addressed, I quote, in the town charter, our ordinances, or these rules. Using these 4 resources, it's very clear to everyone how the council should do its work, and a process to resolve virtually any issue that comes before the council can be found in one of these resources. It's true that Robert's rules can seem intimidating and unwieldy, and they contain many rules we never use or need. So the council, back in 2019, created 2 references. I also have these here, that you can find on the town's website, on the council's page.
All right, I'm going to say, go ahead, because I think you're going to give us some new information.
The 4 pages describe how to use the few Roberts rules that address almost all the issues I've ever seen come up at council meetings. And I have those here too. The bottom line is we don't need more rules, and rules don't hold us accountable. People hold people accountable to the rules that we already have. We need to learn about the rules that we already have and fall back on Roberts for those few exceptions that one might need from time to time. There used to be these Roberts Rules resources at the chair seat. I don't know if they're still there. I can give you a copy if you want them, though. We can only preserve what we love about Gray by finding ways to solve the problems that confront us. This will require compromises, not of our principles, but of the solutions we prefer. We can only hope to keep what we have if we create a town government with the capacity to follow through on the decisions made by voters in the past and by building plans for community members in the future. Plans supported by the majority now and honored and implemented by future councilors and councils. We must learn to implement our plans over the course of years, not from budget to budget or council to council. If we fail to do this, like many other communities around us have, we will lose many of the things we value and hold dear about our town and miss opportunities that may never come again. The world really doesn't care what happens to our hometown. It doesn't care if we stay a small rural community or get swallowed up by suburbs and cities. It doesn't care about our taxes. It doesn't care about our schools or our desire to keep our forests, fields, lakes, and streams healthy and accessible to people. Only we can protect these things that each of us, in our own different ways, genuinely care about. There are times when we all struggle to act the way we know we should, struggles caused by our pride, passion, or frustration. And when this happens, we all know to make amends or make satisfaction, as your rules characterize it. We apologize in a time and a way that is honest and heartfelt, and we should accept the apologies in the same heartfelt way, knowing each of us has had to make apologies ourselves. Thank you for your time and giving me a chance to share all my thoughts.
And thank you for your service on the board, and thank you. Okay. Anyone else want to say anything? Or all right, anybody online, Kyle?
No.
Okay, beautiful. So we can close comments on this, and let's where do we want to start?
And now this thing
Where do we want to
thing's
start?
gone.
Okay, I had a question, and this is kind of an out loud one for you guys. And I'm going by the actual town council rules, just page 3.
Okay.
Page 3, and at the top it says number 3 is. Do you remember this, Ann? If we have like an event of inclement weather or something bad, is 24 hours? I mean, 48 hours really what we're using, or should we use 24 and wait till something comes, or is that too close? It says we're supposed to do a notice within 48 hours ahead of time. I mean, wouldn't we want to do it the day before? Or
I don't think you could be 48 hours, it's too far out, you don't know.
well, that's what it says. That's why I'm asking. I don't think we did that.
I honestly don't remember. It hasn't happened very, very often,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Mike, are
it
you
did last
online
year.
still?
Pete.
He might be.
Yes. So what
What are your
we
thoughts? What are your
decided
thoughts?
was, you know, I don't think you can do that. I mean, you know, if a storm comes up and you can't go that afternoon, you're just gonna have to cancel it and move it out. You know, I mean, it's
Okay.
just, or do it online. I just don't think that 48 hours really, in Maine, I don't think it's realistic.
So do we change it to 24 or 12 or just something
I
a
mean,
little more realistic? 24? I mean, it's like just being realistic.
24 is within 48 hours.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think
I mean, if there's we don't have 3-day blizzards very often, but I mean, if we were to have one, I mean, you could probably guess that, you know, if you already had a couple feet of snow on the roads, that you're not gonna, you know, 48 hours may not be enough time to clean everything up. If there was another day of inclement weather, you know, day or two. So I mean, it doesn't happen very often, as I said, but I think 48 hours is, you know, it gives you a broader window, and then and more time to give people a heads up.
Well, I mean, I guess if we knew a blizzard was coming, we could absolutely we could do 72. We could do, but it says within, and I'm just wondering, you know, sometimes something might come up last minute, or there's a storm and all of a sudden it turns away, we're not going to get it type of
Oh,
thing.
I've seen it happen.
And that's why I'm thinking, could we just say we have the window of waiting up to 24 hours before instead of having to do it 48 hours before?
Yeah, it isn't too far out,
Isn't
48
in the
hours.
past, this is why the man in the back probably is helpful. I thought in the past that if the town office was closed due to a storm, then that night the meeting was canceled. Is that correct, Ann?
I read that.
I think that's what we've done in the past. I think we
It's in
did.
the-
We do
it's
that
in the
last
stuff
year.
here.
I think we did
Yes.
have. We didn't.
No, we went online last year.
Oh, we did online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like.
Oh, it's on
I
here, it
just
says right
assumed-
here, conduct a meeting remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think, you know, sometimes if there's a really, as I said, if there's a really bad storm or right in the thick of it, then I know we could do it 48 hours ahead, we could do it 72 hours ahead. But at least sometimes if something veers off, we could say, oh, well, let's just wait to the day before to make sure.
Honestly, the morning. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you wake up, I mean, I've seen the town office close the day before, and you wake up and there's a half an inch on the ground, and they close the office today.
All right, so I would do I would do 24. I would do the morning of. I mean, what do you folks? I just think 48 hours is too much. I mean, what do you folks think? What do you think, Mike?
Do we even really need it? You know, if we need to change it, we'll just change it. I mean, you know, if we got to go, we always have the ability to go online if we need to. You know, that's what the option was created for. So I don't know if we really even need it, to be honest with you.
Well, it says within 48 hours, then we're saying, all right, 2 days ahead, we're saying we're going to conduct the meeting online. I'd rather be here personally because, as we know, when we're all online, it's awful.
We did that mainly for COVID too. I think
Okay.
that is kind of a carryover, this online. And I gotta be honest, I think people like being here and being able to go up. I think it's difficult and you miss part, and there's some things that come up that are important. You know, sometimes we have stuff on here that's, you know, but there are some things that, you know, and you can't pick what day the storm's coming, where there's things that are really important that we need, that I would like input on.
Okay. So why don't we just say 24? And I like having people here too.
Yeah, and
24, I'm good with 24.
24, I'm comfortable with 24, but I do think that it's disruptive to and often difficult to reschedule council meetings in the event of inclement weather.
I agree. To
So
try to do it
just
online,
assume-
unless the internet's down. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm 100%. I mean, well, if we can't do it, I would prefer to do it and have it.
Yeah.
I would like to say that whatever verbiage that Dan just read for council conduct,
It's in.
no, what he read is not exactly what we have now. I don't know what all got swished around compared to what he had. But it's like, why did we change that? Because if that's what it originally said, what he read, it sounded much better than what we have in here currently.
Well, we're gonna get to that. So let's just check the box on number. Are we okay with 24?
Okay.
Okay. And then just to be clear on, and people just jump in. I'm just reading off some notes I had. Going down on 602.03.
602, I'm sorry.
602.03. It's on the same page at the
Okay.
bottom of page 3.
Yep.
It talks about getting information to the chair and the town manager 7 days ahead. 7 working days. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So today is 9/1. Our next meeting is 9/15. And since Monday's a holiday, you would have to submit anything for the next agenda by tomorrow, 9/2. That would be 7 days, right? That would be 7 working or 7 business days.
It would be Wednesday.
Not
Thursday, rather.
So 9/3,
that's fine.
9/2.
It'd be 9/3.
Remember, Monday's a holiday.
Right, so working days, so if we're counting the 15th, so 1, 2, are you counting the 15th?
I guess we count that as
Yeah.
a day,
Yep.
yeah.
In advance, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, 3rd.
7 would be the 3rd.
Okay, 9/3. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with that, just understanding mentally, then that's going to be good for everybody. I mean, I'm fine with it, but just knowing that if their holidays kicked in there, we're going to have to do that. So we've had some conversation on this, and this is on page 6, which is letter E, under public comment. And you see it says public, says like number 1, number 2, number 3. And again, that's page 6 of 18. So it's under section.
Yep, E, public comment, yeah?
Yeah, okay. So right now, do we want to allow, you can go one of two ways. Do you want to allow, like number 2, it says, do you want to allow comments on both agenda and non-agenda items when people come up so they can talk about whatever they want, with the exception of there are some items that specifically must allow public comment when they come up. But other than that, somebody can come up to the podium and they can talk about whatever they want. But then that would be the time that they would do it. So when the actual item comes up, we wouldn't do it. So instead of having stop all along, that we wouldn't do it, we would allow public comment at the beginning. And remember, when an item comes up, we ask for public comment before we discuss the item anyways.
Like today.
Like today.
Okay,
So
because
we-
Dan got to come up on that topic about this.
Yeah, so he gets
I'd like to keep that going.
Okay,
I don't want-
but he could also, in the beginning, he could come up at the 3 minutes at the beginning to come up.
Because he could leave after if he wanted to and not wait till.
Well, that was the thing, when we
too,
did
so I
the
think
data
that's-
center thing, some young man and their family stayed here for like 2.5 hours, and he was so nice. And if we had had this in place, he could have come up, spoken about it, and
Yeah, but you know what? If he really was serious about this, he'd probably still feel like he wanted to stay here until we addressed it. I would. Because if it's the thing that I'm passionate about or that I've brought before the council, I would still want to be here.
Okay.
I think that we should keep it at non-agenda, and why would we want to open it up to both?
Because then they could talk at the beginning and be done.
But then who's keeping track of that? Oh, shoot, you can't talk again now because you talked about something that was on the agenda.
Well, if somebody talks about an agenda item right now, I you can't talk about it. You can only talk about non-agenda items right now. When you go up.
I think it's confusing,
I am
honestly.
too.
I think it makes, I understand your
So I'm just trying to get a
point,
consensus.
Vinny, but I just think that people can also look at the agenda and realize if it's, you know, later on in the agenda, they don't need to show up at 6:30,
Okay.
right? They can come at 7:30 and maybe not stay here so long. But I do think it's important to separate the non-agenda items from the agenda items
Okay.
when we have explicit opportunity for people to speak to agenda items.
Well, they should be able, I mean, under the way we're doing it right now, they pretty much can come up and speak on any agenda item.
I know, I think that's confusing, but
Right, so
wanna change this.
so let's talk about, I mean, that's the whole reason
Well, it
we're
was changed. We put this in because it was the only non-agenda item.
But
so-
if you're talking about agenda and non-agenda, that means that's your time to talk right now at the beginning. This is talking about public comment at the
I
beginning.
want public comment to be non-agenda items only, and then they stay if they want to talk about something that is on the agenda. That's a new item.
Right, please, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Does it this way? I just think that you know, they should be able to get up and talk. If they want to leave, they can leave. They also, you know, they can vote on anything that anytime we vote, they can get up and speak again. But we shouldn't have them come up 62 times. You know, I mean, it should be anything at the beginning, anytime we're voting on something, and then that's it. I mean, we're the only town that, and I know Pam said there's others. I haven't been able to find any that do it any other way. But you know, I just think it's. You know, I think that, you know, that young man, you know, I mean, you know, and, you know, what if he shows up at 7:30? They've already talked about it. I mean, I just think that they should be able to get up and speak, just like the school board does, get up and speak, and then they can go. If they want to stick around, they can stick around. If it's something we vote on, they can stick around and talk again.
So they get to talk twice. Why would we put ourselves through that? You know, so now you're saying they can speak about it at the beginning and then they can also again.
No, you can speak right if you speak
But
about.
then you've got to make that clear every time. If you speak now, you can't speak later.
Well, no, if we have it set up to speak on non-agenda and agenda items at the beginning, that's the time you would speak.
I personally.
And that's fine. I'm just, again, this is I'm just one person. I'm just trying to figure out what everybody would like to do. I mean, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for. I mean, and ultimately, what would you like to see? What do you feel is?
I think we have an early, you know, public comments on non-agenda items, the way it is now, and then we provide ample opportunity for people to speak on agenda items as they come along. Honestly, they may come with a particular viewpoint, and when they've had an opportunity to and hear other people's comments on the agenda item or councilors' questions or whatever, I think they might benefit from that. So
Okay.
I think it's reasonable to expect that they wait until those times to address those those agenda items.
Okay, yeah, I know. It's so basically what you would like to say is at the beginning for the 3-minute public comment, it would be public comment on non-agenda items only.
Yeah.
And then during the meeting, if an item comes up, that's a item that we're going to allow comments, so they can come up and comment on that. And again, they comment on it before we talk. So basically, we make a motion, we bring it to the floor. Does anybody want to come up and speak about it? And then we talk about it after. That's still the process. But then they can still come up and speak on that. And that's, okay, all right.
I think.
All right? And what do you think?
I kind of think the same way, because I used to be out there, and I do remember that 3-minute clock flew by so fast, just like I was at that podium, that boom, it's over, right, Dan? I mean, that thing is so quick. So if you wanted to get up there and talk about an agenda item and a non-agenda, you're not going to have enough time. You're not going to. If there's going to be more than one thing that you want to cover, it's not going to happen in 3 minutes. I don't think we ought to be able to hear from people. I think it's their right to get up and speak, and even if it takes us to be here at midnight at night, we're here to serve them, and I am for it to let them speak. I'm sorry.
All right, no, that's okay. All right, you heard that, so we're gonna.
Do we want to vote on that particular issue?
Well, I think, you know, the reality is, we'll see what else is there. I don't know if we'll have.
Oh, 'cause we are-
Is it better to
Or
just?
could we do a straw poll on that? I mean.
Well, I think I see the straw poll right there. There's
Okay.
I mean.
Just want to make
You need
sure.
to give me the wording.
I'll give you the,
Yeah.
so
'Cause if
here's
you-
the thing, do we have to, can we just put, we don't have to do this.
Well, if you want to table it again.
No,
we can.
let's not table it.
Do you want to just table, okay, all right, so.
If you
all
want
right,
to amend
no,
it,
no,
then you
yeah,
just give me
okay.
the wording and I'll.
So it's gonna,
yeah,
let me
just
see,
amend
so
it.
it's gonna say,
What it did before.
it's gonna say pretty much what it, let me see. So you got it right, let's see, public is invited to address the council on item, so it's gonna say the public is
Yeah, well,
invited.
this is the council will ask for public comments following the report from the town manager, so, okay.
So then I'm just gonna say the public is invited to address the council on items not listed on tonight's agenda.
Is invited to, what?
Non-agenda items.
Yeah, a non-agenda.
Yeah, non-agenda
To,
items.
the public is invited to address the council on, you can say non-agenda items.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect, and then, you get the, you know, comments limited to 3 minutes. You know,
Well, that's the 3 and 4, so number 2.
Okay, all right, so we just leave it.
3 and 4 are okay, I assume. that-
Comments limited to 3 minutes for speaker, public comments. Yeah, I think that's, right, so just read what you have.
So number 2, you just want to say the public is invited to address the council on non-agenda items?
Only.
Yeah, only.
So number 2, we'll just take, that will just be that one
That's it, yeah.
sentence?
Happy, Pam, good?
As opposed,
Good.
okay, we can do that.
Okay.
Yep,
All
that's
right.
good.
Perfect.
And then each person in attendance, whether it was, will have an opportunity to speak once. Okay. I think the rest of it looks okay. Thoughts?
No, my thought is I would like to, whatever Dan McGuire read.
No, but we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're chugging down the line. I just wanna make sure on this part of it, we're good, I think.
On
So-
which, on this?
That's
are we
just for
going
the
page by
public
page?
comment?
Oh, public comment,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
So again, it would be,
yep.
you know, non-agenda items only at the beginning, and then, okay, perfect. And then it says, hold on, public expenditure. Actually, let's see, comments. Is there some place here that it says that they'll be able to comment on agenda items as they come up?
No, that wasn't included. It was
Okay,
just
so then
that
we'd
they
have to
could-
say.
Because that was new, that's new.
All right, so how do we word that? How do we want to add that in? So it's.
Public comment is allowed, 3-minute public comment before each agenda item.
But is it each agenda items or specified agenda items?
New, isn't it just
Agenda items.
new business? Is it, what is it? Isn't it things
I
we
mean-
vote on?
It's supposed to be anything we
voting
vote
on.
on.
Say it, Mike?
Yeah, I don't either.
Whatever
It's
we're
supposed to
voting
be
on.
anything we vote on.
Anything we vote on?
Yeah, anything we vote
Okay.
on.
All right.
Public hearing.
So, yep, so public comment will be allowed on,
Do you want, under the same thing, or do you want another number?
I'd do another number.
Okay, so underneath number 2?
Yeah, probably it should say,
So new number
public,
3.
public comment would be allowed on any agenda item that the town council votes on? Is that how it says?
As it's presented.
As it's presented?
Public
Yeah,
comment
as
will
it's
be
presented,
permitted.
yes.
Yeah.
And you can put 3 minutes on there if you want
Okay,
to.
Public comment will be allowed.
Yeah, and then what we would do is we would reference, reference number 4 for comments of 3 minutes.
All right, so public comment will be allowed on before? Or
It's
at the
always,
time?
it's always, yeah, I mean, it's at the time, because we make a motion, we bring it to the floor, and before we talk
the
about it, we ask for
time.
public comment.
Mhm.
Public comment will be allowed at the time.
Honestly, if you go back to the original, it's right there.
Well, okay.
It's right here.
How can you even read that? It's like
Well,
pretty small.
It's in
I'm
the.
just saying
Hold on,
it's
let
so
me go back to
small.
the original then.
Yeah, it's,
So you want
it's page 55 if you
Okay,
would need
hold
to
on,
look
I'll
at
go
it in the
back to
council
it.
packet.
Okay, 1 second, go there.
Good, no, this is good.
You said page what?
55 in the council packet.
No, if I click on the link on the agenda, what, I don't have
Six.
Not on
the
there. I
Page
don't think
six.
that's on there.
page
It's the
six.
original
I have
stuff.
6 on, I don't know which one's on it, but I have 6 on the clean copy.
I don't
Hold
know
on.
about the link.
Let me see if I can pull up the dirty copy.
What's the section
It's
header?
page 8 of
It
23
is.
on the old
Thank
one.
you.
Okay.
There you
8
go.
of 23?
So that's on the marked up one?
Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
sure.
Public comment, okay. And you want to add a new number 3? I can't do on here.
Well, I think if you read it,
This says both agenda and non-agenda items might be commented on. That's what I'm looking at, Pam. If you click on the link for the.
oh, I don't want to click on the link.
But that's what I have on the agenda. I only have the 2. I have the marked up version and the clean version.
Yeah,
Oh,
So on the marked up version,
okay.
that's what Vinnie sent a note around reminding us that we're gonna be working from that council agenda and the links in it.
Well, I'm looking at the, yeah, link
Okay.
right here. I got it.
So I'm sorry, I've lost track of what the question is now.
well,
So what we wanted,
you want to amend it.
what we
Yeah.
want to say is, so we're going to allow non-agenda, then what we want to say is something that the public will be allowed to come up to speak on agenda items that will be voted on.
Yeah, so that would be a new number 3. I
Yeah,
think
so
that's
Has
right.
that always traditionally been 3 minutes, or was it just the beginning comments 3 minutes? I'm just asking.
I don't know, we've always
As far
just
as I've
done,
been here, it's always been 3 minutes.
Well,
Yeah,
you haven't,
Well-
has it been that way?
Well,
that's
we
what-
only allowed public comment in the beginning. Public comment as the items came up on the agenda was not a common practice. That's
Yeah.
something new.
that's new.
So that's, yeah,
Yes.
it was when there was a public hearing, yes, you
Yes.
had to allow them to speak, but
Right.
on every item that you vote on was not allowed.
yeah.
During, they didn't get a chance to speak during those, so this is something new.
Do we want to just do public
I think it's
And it's state
important to
law.
get, I think it's
Excuse
important
me,
to
Mike?
get input.
It's state law now that they have to be able to get up and speak on anything we vote on. That just changed. That's recent.
Oh, good, okay.
Could you provide us with
Yeah, I
that
don't-
statutory language?
Vinny, I sent it to Vinny. I sent it to Vince. Yeah.
Okay, well then,
I'm good with that. I don't need the statutory language.
Well, I need to know the language.
Yes.
I think I
You can
do.
figure that
I
out
do.
later.
I can't because
You can't, we have to
I know.
vote on the
Okay.
amended, so I have to have the
Alright,
word
we'll
in.
wait
No, we're going to
for
find
you.
it right now.
We're good.
Yeah,
I'm going,
Vince, do you have the language I sent you?
I do not.
I'm gonna
All
look
right,
it
let me
up.
see if I can find it. Hold on.
All right, so 6, give me a, come on, buddy.
Let's do that.
How did I pass that? All right, so 602.
You know, I'm going to be on, while we're looking for this, could I just state that maybe if we are concerned about people having to sit to the end of the meeting, that some of the things, the way we put them on the agenda, like voting for this gentleman to become on the finance committee, maybe we move this stuff to the beginning.
That should have been the first thing we did tonight,
I
because
mean,
that's a
'cause we can
no-brainer.
think about this stuff.
I know, we really.
You know, I mean,
I
really.
think we should
can-
do that.
Yeah,
as soon
so
as
you're right,
possible for
we
Bob.
can, you're right, you're 100% right, and we do have the ability, I don't know the
We
wording,
do.
we do have the ability to do that.
Yes, I'm just reading.
Yeah, I mean, we know we have the ability to do it, we just didn't
Didn't think of
do it. I was always taught to do the hardest things first, and yours just,
If you can find that link, I don't have, the only thing I got from
This
the
right here,
attorney
602
was-
point-
No, the only thing I got from the attorney was that a reasonable opportunity for public comment must be provided on
we don't
that
need to have,
agenda.
I don't need the deterrent, we just
No,
need
no,
to.
but it doesn't need to be on every item. That's
Yeah, I think that's correct, yeah.
what I'm trying to, because Mike said you have to allow it on every item you're voting on, but that is not what I see on the statute.
Okay, and Mike,
So-
you're gonna try to,
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now because it was recently changed.
okay.
Okay, so it says right here is, and I'll send it to you, reasonable opportunity for public comment on matters addressed by the governing body at regular scheduled public meetings. This new process is designed to provide the opportunity. Let me see. Let me find exactly the wording. I'll find it in a second and send it over, and you'll have it. But it's new. All right. Let's see. Events of mass appearing in the public and otherwise being addressed at another meeting, except when otherwise required. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna send it to you right now. So it's anytime it's required by law, and when we looked it up, Vince, it was when we voted on stuff is what it said. But, and this was, and I give you the under 30 AMRS, I give you all that stuff, so I just sent it to you.
Required by law is just the public hearings. It's not everything you vote on.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
Just a public
so
hearing.
it's not, it's just public hearings that are mandated by statute, not everything you vote on.
Yeah,
So-
because we don't need public comment unlike Bob, right?
No, but we offer it. We
Yeah,
actually, we
offer
do,
it.
yeah,
Actually,
we do.
yeah, yeah.
Right, so if you want to amend the rules to include, here, let me get back to them.
I just
I'd
think,
like to do public hearing. I think we stick to that. If that's what the state is.
well, that's what I'm saying. So when we can say is, public comment will be allowed on agenda items.
I got that. The public is invited to address the council on non-agenda items only.
That's the
That was
beginning.
number 3.
And then the other one we would add on would be something to the effect is that the public is allowed to comment on agenda items. I didn't say when required by law.
How are they gonna know what that is?
But we would tell them, we would know at the beginning.
We can put it in the agenda.
Or you can put it in the agenda.
Yeah, these items are for public comment.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to include it in your rules. You could just put it on your agenda.
Oh, I think it needs to be in the rules, though.
Well, it's mandated by law, so you can't.
Just say when,
yeah.
oh, you don't have to put that in?
Okay.
You don't
Right,
have
I'm
to
just
put-
saying it's mandated by law,
So we don't
so
have
you
to put it
couldn't, you couldn't change it anyway.
Okay.
So you just want to leave it blank? What are your thoughts?
Put it on the agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Make it
less is
visible.
more.
Okay, so I'll just.
Ann?
Yeah,
You're okay with that?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, I think I would prefer that we stick to just the public hearings. Yeah, I think it's more efficient and people can always email or call us.
Well, that's my thing, is I think people can always, everybody should get the agenda and they can reach out, but I mean, that's just one person, so, okay.
Okay, so I got number 2 also?
All right, what is next? My goodness gracious, let's see. All right, let's go to Anne, what are your thoughts on, I know we want to talk about a code of conduct, but what are your thoughts on just putting she actually has it in here on page 12 of 18?
This is on the.
Just on just the straight up.
The straight up.
Yeah, the straight up.
Not the marked up version.
Not the marked up, the
Okay,
straight up
yep.
one. It says, number 9 on page 12 of 18, it talks about requiring as kind of like that the chair would
Yeah.
require to step down from that position. My only question on that is do we, and I'm fine with that because it's regarding me, but what's considered, what's demonstrated repeated inability? What do we have any criteria that we want to use for that, or that's kind of the question?
I mean, I would say, violations of the tasks of the, for example, up early in the preceding page, the chair shall preserve decorum and order and may, do those kinds of things. Under A, the chair preside over meetings and enforce these rules in a fair and impartial manner. I mean, if that's not happening, any one of us could bring that, discussion point up, and then serve as the presiding officer in all manners of meeting procedure. I mean, if there are repeated instances where the chair is not, it is violating procedures, or seems to be having difficulty running meetings, that could be a reason for calling for that individual to step down.
And that takes 4 of us.
Yeah, and
it takes 4. And like I said, I completely get where Ann's coming from. I don't disagree with this. I think it's probably a good thing to do. I just want to. kind of get our arms around it, whether it be me or whomever else is here in the seat in the future.
Yeah, you just don't want it to be because you don't like them.
Right, for sure, and that's fair, yeah. We definitely don't need
That
to.
is a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's what you're talking to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just what is, everybody has their, like when you go to the doctors, what's your pain level? My 2 might be somebody's 7, you don't know. That thing.
I have a high pain tolerance.
Yes.
Just saying.
Okay.
I wouldn't run for this thing.
Did you want to change anything there?
Do we think we should change anything there? Do you want to,
I think it's,
I thought it was fine.
I do too.
all right,
I do too.
Mike?
I don't see him on anymore.
Okay,
You know,
that's all right.
he's not there.
Okay. And then the question I had on number 8 above, it says review and sign payroll and accounts payable warrants, and when available, delegate the responsibility to another account in accordance with town policy. What is the town policy? What does that mean?
I'm sorry, what page are you on?
This is right above
12
1218 on the clean copy.
Okay, thank you.
Is that,
So-
should that say, reference the town charter or the?
Well, did we need to put that in there? Like, see, it says.
Oh, yes, review and sign payroll and account.
Isn't
pay.
council
In accordance with town
Yeah,
policy, so we
council
can't
is
just say the
spelled wrong,
responsibility of
yes,
another
thank you.
council, period? Do we have to put in accordance with town policy? I mean,
Another counselor in
And
accordance.
councilor is spelled wrong there as well.
oh,
I got that, yep, see that, okay. Numbers.
look at you, spelling bee champ.
No, I'm not.
The point of information you give of fiscal policy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the state has one,
Do you
for
want
us
it to
as well.
say-
State
No, I just go
statute.
period and
Just in another counselor period.
yeah, just put,
Remove.
when unavailable, delegate that responsibility to another counselor,
Okay.
period.
Remove in accordance with town policy.
And that's, like, obviously, if somebody's like out or away or something like that, it just, before it didn't say that, so.
Just, we want it done.
It's kind of like using the word may instead of that type of thing. Yep,
Let's all
shall.
read this thing.
All right. And then, the only other thing, I mean, most of this looks, I think, is good. The only thing I was looking at is on 602.13, which is further down the page, but what I want to do rolls into page 13.
Well, A still is a little bit of a stickler for me, because none.
But let's go back. Let's go back.
Well, no, on page 13, 13 of 18.
Oh, 13 of 18, okay,
The
A.
one that, I just don't like to know where this came from, and no one could speak to that for me at the last meeting. This is not ever been in our personnel policy, and you know how we all submitted things, but no one could tell me where A, 1, 2, and 3 came from.
The council recognition?
Yeah, with a, no counselor shall address, well, the counselors shall address all remarks through the chair. No counselor shall speak unless recognized by the chair. Counselors, so I mean, that is not in our prior council rules, nowhere. It cannot be found. And so at the last meeting, I was just curious as to who added this, and no one spoke to that. How did it get here?
I mean, I think that has been the practice.
No,
Yeah.
you're not gonna find it. You and I
Well,
looked at it 2 weeks ago.
But I mean, I think that generally is the practice. I mean, I think we haven't been, complete sticklers for it, especially in a more informal discussion. But here, the deal is that, I mean, when people are acting in a really collegial manner and everything's going smoothly,
Yes.
I think we can have a more informal discussion. But when things get contentious and, or people are misbehaving in different ways, then I think it's important to have this in here for the council to assert control of the process and
Well, it was in here that the council could assert control over the public.
No, but this
No,
was
but
for
this
us,
is
so
about the council,
for example, what I've been doing now is, you notice when we have a topic like the data center, somebody would say, I want a motion. You were the first motion, and then Ann was the second. After I got public comment on it, I would come back and I would say, you start first because you gave the first motion, and then I would let everybody else speak once, and then I'd go back around. You just didn't notice it, but that's what I was doing. But to Ann's point, when we're all kind of getting along and we're just having, I mean, it's pretty free flowing, and there's no need to be, I don't think.
I will just say that I have been involved with other groups where people were, really came with the intent of disrupting the process and not helping to move the process along. And ultimately, our job here is to get things done. And if the process is breaking down and is becoming, really fractious, it's important for the chair to have the tools to assert control and recognize speakers and kind of move things along. I think it belongs in here.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay, and then the other thing I was going to do is
I just would like to know how it got there,
sure,
that's all.
up above where it says, so above A, you go up, it says members of the public. Above that, the last sentence, it says, where it says town councilors may in full transfer bring up.
All right.
It's on page 13
Oh, I am on
of
13,
18.
yeah, okay, and it's,
So basically, it says, kind of the things that Dan was talking about, says,
over
or-
here, Councilor Sheriff.
yeah, or personality of another person rather than the matter under consideration, and I was gonna put comma, and shall not encourage others to do so, is what I'd like to add.
Oh, after under consideration?
Yeah, and shall not encourage others to do so. And I mean, the reality, as Dan said, there's this, it may not be perfect, but there's a statement in there that basically says, we need to, treat others like we want to be treated ourselves.
Is everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, tell me again,
Yeah.
please.
And I don't, how does,
Can you tell me again, please?
oh, all right, right here.
And shall not encourage others to do so.
And then the only other question I had, and this looks pretty good, on page 15 of 18. It talks about breach of council rules or orders, and do we really have a way under 1, 2, or 3 other than saying, calling somebody out and saying, you're not supposed to do that? Do we really have a way to censure somebody or to do anything? And if there's nothing, should we be able to do something?
Just a point of information, can you
Yes.
say the section numbers? So that-
Absolutely. We are, we are in.
Section 60214.
Thank you.
I mean, isn't number 3 the consequence?
Do you think?
Or the action?
Yeah, it's all in here. Plus you have the.
Okay, on the
rules.
pending question, or if the council continues to violate these rules, should it be on the question, but what if what if one of us is just really out of order? Can you censure somebody and just say until you apologize or do whatever, you cannot speak? I mean, is there any other things, or is this a one question scenario as my, I'm just trying to think about, do we
This
put
said
something in place?
something different in the prior one, where they actually could censor the
I
person.
thought there was something in it.
There's
and
something, when this got redone by our, maybe our last town clerk, I think some things might have just gone to the wayside, but there was something about being censored.
All right, I'm going to do a point of information. Do you remember anything on that? Dan, come on, please.
There wasn't much in the rules that I remember about the specifics of censoring someone other than what's in here. I would point out, I'm not trying to be critical, I would point out though that you keep sort of forgetting you have one more source that you don't use that would answer all of the questions that you're raising. How do you deal with a chair who's not following the rules? You can dismiss a chair for just the meeting, or you can dismiss a chair for their term. Then that's where you would have to go to Roberts to find that.
Gotcha.
My point is, rather than reinventing the wheel and then having things, I mean, your rules do have a severance clause at the end, so it does say if state statute says something different, it automatically kind of takes care of that. That's kind of the safety net.
Yep.
But when you can't find it in here, I really think there's value to going to Roberts and see if the answer's there. And the reason for that is over time, not only will you, but we and future councils will get to spend more time talking about the issues and less time talking about the rules. I mean, it takes time and it takes effort, I know. Believe me, I know how much stuff you have to read and go through. Personally, I would add something to your agenda, and that's to take a rule or an ordinance at every meeting and just quickly discuss it. It sounds like you're going to have a retreat. That's great. I'm glad to hear that that's coming back. But anyways, I think you'll find the answers to your questions in Roberts.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And if if I
Almost
can.
everything defaults back to the Robert's
Yeah.
rules, believe it or not. I mean, any
Yeah, it
question you
does.
have in here, I
So
mean, the
why
Robert's
remake
rules,
the
I know,
rule?
it's like,
Remake
why are we,
the wheel.
right, I know.
You just have to find it. and-
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
It's got it right in here, 60213,
Yeah.
right down there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. And if I can, just one more liberty. You
Right.
asked why the 60213, why you might have liked my version better. Pam's, I wrote the original one actually, but you know, you don't always proof your work very well. And as I looked at it, as I was preparing this, I knew I was going to go over the 3-minute rule, so I edited it myself.
Okay.
Okay. So, I mean,
I like the
if,
original.
if we leave it as it is and we just approve it,
Mhm.
can
I
we go back
have a
to?
couple of.
No, please, go right ahead.
Are you ready?
I was
to
still
go now?
doing, well, I wanted to finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if we don't do anything with 602.14, we just leave as is. I guess my question was, can we change this more than once a year if we had to? Not that I want to.
We don't
just
want
fix
to.
it.
I'm just,
We
that
don't
was
wanna
my
do this
question. My
again.
question was,
You
can we?
can.
We can,
We
okay,
don't
that's all I
need
want to
to.
know. Perfect. I just want to know we
Yeah.
can. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Ann. I'm good. Then,
You're all set?
I think so, yeah.
I just have a couple of things.
No,
and
please, let's do it.
One on page 4 to 5 of the unmarked version of the council
Okay,
rules.
what number are you looking at?
I'm looking at the
602,
C, order of business.
wait,
Bottom of page
602.
4.
Okay, gotcha.
And actually, this, I may have seen the answer to my question in the first sentence here, but I just wondered, it seemed to me that in previous times I've served on the council, that there's been a standing item on the agenda that is like new agenda item or something like that. And any council member could propose adding something to the agenda. I think there's other places where it's clear where it can, under what circumstances a new agenda item can be proposed, say the night of the meeting, at the meeting. And you can't, there are limitations on that, but I just wondered if it's not clear where in the order of business the council member would be able to say, could we add this to the council agenda tonight?
Could we do that? Would that be under referrals and other business?
No, it would be at the beginning where somebody wants to amend the agenda.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, if you want to, I'm completely, if you want to add that in there, I have absolutely no qualms on doing that. I mean, is that something?
Yeah, we can add it as another number. I mean, if you wanted to put,
So that would be,
Have we always had this order of business?
yes.
Really?
Yeah. Would you do it, you would do it around the 9-10 area? Would you think after public comments and then you have unfinished business,
I've never
table
seen
second, like in that area, Ann, for new? Where do you think, where are you thinking?
I almost would do after approval of minutes.
Yeah, 5, yeah.
But
Okay.
just early on the agenda, so people have,
And we're just going to call it new agenda item?
yeah,
And where are we going to put the people that we don't want to sit to the end, to have to sit through this whole meeting just to get approved to be on the finance committee? Where
Well,
does
the next time this comes up, we're going to take a better look at it, and I have the ability, and I didn't bring it with me, and I apologize that I could say we could flip it, we're going to be there in a second, but I could flip it around.
yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it's possible to take stuff out of order, and we have done that in the past,
Okay.
and I think that's a reasonable thing to do. It's also true that it is not a requirement, it's not written anywhere, that people need to be present in order to be appointed to committees.
It says a lot.
And especially when they already sit on the committee, and there's no reason that they won't get reappointed. Okay, so that's.
So we would add, like, I just put 4.5, we would just push everyone down, so it would be
so it was a
number 5, so
Do number 5?
that would be 5, that would be 6, and blah, blah,
What would you
blah.
like to call it? Would you like to call it agenda amendments?
Yeah, agenda amendments, I would think,
Okay.
yeah.
Agenda, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a rare event,
No,
but
but
I just wanted, I think
It
it
has
should be
happened.
clear, yeah.
You know, My whole thought on this is just like even by changing the time and saying a future, it's just, why don't we just do some stuff so that future counselors don't have to deal with it? Because somebody's gonna bring it up. So there's always somebody in the crowd that's gonna bring it up and go, gotcha.
Oh, it's gonna get changed by the next set
Yeah,
of
but maybe
counselors
not.
Yeah.
Oh, look, have you looked at the list of the changes for the years? I think
Yeah.
it's
I
pretty
know.
much you can
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Okay, I just have one other thing. On page 13 of the unmarked version, and there's a statement that says, oh gosh, wait a minute, sorry. Town councilors may, in full transparency, bring up, where does that come in, sorry. I might have the page wrong. Sorry. Hang on. I was just, now it doesn't seem to appear in this.
It's on page 13
Yeah,
at the
that's what I
very
thought.
top.
Councilors should refrain from
Okay.
personal attacks. Oh, yes, the last sentence of that paragraph.
Yeah, sorry.
Which has 2 periods at the end of it.
Yeah, okay, that's right. The last, thank you for
Oh,
that.
that's the one we wanted to add to after,
add to
under
it, yes.
consideration. I saw the extra period.
Yeah, and then my only question is, do we want to provide any guidance around this? For example, should we encourage or require counselors to bring documentation that they can share with other council members relative to new material or new requests that they're bringing forward? Any information in detail, whether current or historical, which has, may, or could in any way affect the town of Gray. I mean, I think we've seen some examples of this tonight where we've had competing assertions that, the statute says
Sure.
one thing, and it's not clear because none of us have seen the statute. I mean, if so, I just wondered whether or not we should have
So,
some sort of guidance around.
I agree.
Bring written,
So like I should have,
documentation.
like tonight, if this was brought up later, I would bring this up, which is I have all the paperwork, I would hand it out to say exactly
Yeah.
what I spoke about. So, especially if it's something older from like 2021 or something,
Right.
maybe you could put, affect the town of Gray, to include provided documents or documents provided, I don't know.
Trouble is we should have them before the meeting.
Yeah.
You know, I
You,
mean,
you should, but sometimes you're right, we should have it
really
before the
should, 'cause
meeting. I'm just
otherwise
thinking
we'll
if
be
something
in-
comes up, but I guess if something comes up, we would give the documents for the next meeting.
Yeah.
So, but I understand what Ann's saying, that does make sense. So how do we, let's see, debate any information in the current.
I mean, I would be okay with just saying something effective. Councilors should bring documentation with them that would help their fellow members understand the points they wish to make. I'm not doing a good job at that.
So add a sentence at the end that just says,
So
the
councilors
counselor should
Bring,
The additional
provide relevant information with
relative
regards to the topic of discussion.
Yeah, that's right.
With
Something
regards
to that
relevant
effect,
to the
yeah.
topic of discussion.
Because I
documentation.
A point of information?
Yes.
Are you talking about a counselor bringing something that's not on the agenda and then bringing the material that night for something you're going to discuss, or have I misunderstood?
No, on the agenda.
No, this would be something that I think we would be putting on the agenda.
Can't do that.
That they would bring just that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I believe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good one, Ann.
Back to the question.
That's it for me.
All right, good. Pam?
So bring them information?
Actually, I think I might be confused, but
Provide,
you know how I brought up that conflict of interest where I wanted, was that on the boards and committees?
It was on,
Remember how I said that I would like them to get up from the dais during that time period, that if they felt they were in a position of a conflict of interest?
Yes.
To remove themselves from the dais?
No, it is in here.
It's in here.
Where?
Hold on 1 minute.
I can't find it.
Let me finish. Something.
Yeah, absolutely,
Council
absolutely.
shall provide
Council should make every effort. No, council
Yeah.
should provide
Right, let me just think of the word.
relevant information to the topic at hand. Relevant information to the topic at hand.
Relevant documentation
To the topic at hand.
So you
That's
find
fine.
anything
Yep,
on
perfect.
conflict of interest even?
at hand.
I think we put it in there.
All right, I'm just looking because I'm not seeing it.
I'll find it for you, Pam.
Thank
Hold on.
you.
Council shall provide relevant documentation
got it?
to,
15 of 18?
hold on.
To the council for the topic at hand.
To the council.
Okay, thank you. Yep, number 3.
Hold on.
We got it, we've got it.
Shall
What page is it?
provide-
15 of 18, number 3, and found it.
It doesn't answer, right. I'll have to think about that, I can't. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fine. You good?
That
Beautiful.
seems good. I mean, as long as I know they can come back after. It
Yeah.
doesn't really say that.
And again, I know you don't want to, but once we approve this, if there's something that we do see, we could bring it up, if we have to bring it up in one night and change it, we could do that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
I
get it.
it.
I know.
No, I get it. I'm trying to,
yeah.
yeah, you're trying to get to Bob, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prior to discussion.
No, we give her 1 second. She's the.
Relevant documentation shall be provided to the council prior to discussion.
Yeah, but what about my one thing that I really liked?
No, this is on the last one that we're still, I needed the wording for the
Yeah,
addition.
that works for me. Yep.
Is that fine?
I would
Yes.
say,
Okay. Prior to discussion.
I don't know where that documentation, that wording is.
That wording, where is the wording, Dan? I like,
Actually, it's on,
And what you just
third page there.
distributed to us.
The 6th paragraph down.
okay, but I thought you said you simplified it.
I did, it's
Oh.
right there, it says, and I quote, and then once in quotes is what I wrote.
Okay. I don't know, just seemed to cover it good,
Did.
and I mean, I
But
think
I
our
mean,
stuff is a
I-
little bit more mumbly jumbly and diverse. I don't even know what it said.
You try to simplify it.
I mean,
It seemed more simple to me. But,
I realize, I think we
Well,
all
I
get, I
find
think
it-
we all get the gist of what we're trying to do. But, Judy?
Yep. So page 10, recording of votes, it is in here, that we
Yeah,
need
I
to
see
list the
that.
people.
I
We
saw
need to
that.
list people, so we do need to make sure that that gets done.
Okay, what is that?
Thank you, thank you.
What does that
On
say?
page 10,
Okay, yep.
recording of votes,
Okay.
and we are supposed to be saying who the councilors is that
Yes,
said
that's
yay
right.
and nay.
Yep.
Okay.
Good catch.
Good catch,
Also, the code of conduct, and I just wanted to make sure, Ian, because you were so adamant about code of conduct, but yet you didn't add anything on here, so why?
Because I accepted as homework that I would come up with, that I would do a deeper dive into codes of ethic and codes of conduct and come back with a recommendation to the council for your review. Due to my husband's health situation and a lot of just huge waves of summer visitors, I haven't gotten to it yet, but they're all gone now, and my husband's improving, so September is
Because I thought
wide
you'd be
open.
putting it in this, wouldn't it go here?
I think there are some towns that have separate codes of conduct or codes of ethics, and others that combine them. I don't think there's one way of doing
Okay.
it. We do
All
have a
right.
lot of that language here.
Yeah,
So-
so too.
But we can't,
why-
like,
But why? Why would we, if we have this information, and in the prior council, when you did have problems arise here, up here, you know, you did have tools available to deal with it at the time, and it kind of just,
It wasn't accountable. People, you didn't follow the rules, basically. It didn't get followed.
so, I mean, why would we need a separate code of conduct when, I mean, ultimately, I mean, yeah, you probably have something happen every once in a while. I mean, in all the years that I've been here and watched council meetings or been in the town all the way back to Hannaford, and that was such a big deal at the planning board meetings, rarely have you said, oh my gosh, that was like a knockdown, drag out. I mean, for the most part, people do maybe get a little amped at times, but I haven't, with the exception of this year, I have seen things, I'm not gonna say that for sure.
Well, I think the Roberts rules covers all that, and the stuff that we have in here covers it too. So why would we have an additional, is all I'm saying, is if there was something that needed to be further deeper than what we already have, I just don't see it. But I mean, if you felt there was, Ian, I mean, I'm open to it, but I mean.
I just can't answer the question because I haven't done the homework yet.
Okay,
so-
okay, that's fine. I just don't want you to miss the boat here, because this is where I thought you were gonna do
No,
it.
and we're
so
getting
I
a
mean-
lot of letters about this code of conduct, and I'm thinking,
Yeah, it's like,
what
okay,
is the
well,
code
where
of
is it?
conduct?
Apologies, I just haven't gotten to it, but I
Okay,
will.
all right.
So can
the
I-
other thing left I wanted
yeah,
to
go
talk
ahead.
about was
Well-
this Zoom on here. I don't know where it is in here, but we do allow counselors to go on Zoom for these meetings. But I want there to be, I think it should be some type of a limitation, because I wouldn't want a counselor every meeting on Zoom. And I'm sure, like, it probably isn't gonna happen, but we don't know that. But I mean, there should be some type of limitations, because we used to, you know, Zoom was very popular, but I really feel people should be in their seat unless it's a serious reason why they can't be. But I would not want to see a precedent set where all of a sudden, we're all like on Zoom.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I
I
get
mean,
it.
because it can get, and it can go down that road, I could see it, you know.
So what would you like to
I think
say?
you're serving the public. I mean, you're taking on a position
Right,
of
so I feel that
service.
we should be here unless it's a serious emergency, but I think if we have some type of limitations, like you can't be, you know, 6 out of 10 meetings, you're not here. I mean, there's gotta be
Well,
something
it
which
does say
says.
that in here somewhere, I think,
No, it
right?
doesn't.
No,
There's no limits.
The charter?
To be not on the council if you miss so many meetings, but it doesn't say anything about Zooming. It doesn't say anything about calling in. But you're right, no, you're right in theory.
Okay, yeah, right.
But I think there should be some type of limitations on it, and I think we should say, like, maybe, you know, we need to have like a, I don't know, like a situation where somebody's been like 4 or 5 times or something, that it's too many or something within a year period.
I
And say you
disagree.
need to be pulled in or something.
There's all, I mean, so many businesses, there are companies that are entirely remotely. They
I
do
know
all
they
their
are,
business
but this is
online.
different.
This isn't a
This is town
company.
council.
But,
We're
yeah,
serving
but
our
I think
people.
that people are, a lot of people are accustomed to doing their work remotely. I think, you know, there could be a situation where someone's ill and can't make it.
Well, I think that
Well,
There
would
could be
that's
situations
understandable,
where
is what I'm saying, that's
they have to go to
understandable.
another state to take care of an aging parent, or you know, or that that they're, you know, required to travel for work and have to do the calls from the road.
So do
I
we
mean,
do,
I think
so
all
do
of
we make
that
something, those are all valid. Do we do something where we
I
say,
agree.
you could have so many, this kind of sounds very schoolish, but excused absences in the sense that, you know, if obviously, you know, you're going to go out to New Mexico, I get it, you're gone. That's clear, but if something else is coming, people just don't want to come and there's really no valid reason, I mean.
If it's
What would you
abused,
think
it
if
can be
somebody
abused,
just said
is
to
what
you
I
they
feel. It
only
can be
want to be a
abused.
counselor if they can be on Zoom?
Well, I would vote for them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. She wouldn't vote for
Can I point out though, under quorum, under 602.04, you would need to change that entire
Right.
section, because
it. Yeah, yeah.
it talks about a quorum and how if there's a remote if remote is allowed, then that constitutes a quorum if they're remote and they have
I don't want to be.
the ability, it says, let's see. Remote participation shall be permitted whenever the town provides a hybrid meeting option. So you'd have to, and then,
Oh, God, yeah.
so it's a whole section that speaks to that, so.
So we'll just let it go for now.
Let it
until
go for
becomes an
now,
issue.
yeah. Oh, great, what's the next one?
Yep, that's all I had for mine, I was all good on there.
Beautiful,
stuff.
so,
Yep.
and then,
So,
yes,
so back to me with the 60213.
hold on.
That is the one thing that I liked.
page?
I liked it better than what we have here. If you read it, the two of them side by side, it is better, I think.
On the marked up version?
I mean, no,
On
on
Dan's?
Dan's.
What's the page again?
Well, this
okay,
here,
so
12 of 18. Yeah.
Okay.
It starts there and flips to the next page. It's at the very bottom.
Okay.
I got it right here.
So that one paragraph, Rule 60213, which is the council rules for debate.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that it says,
Yeah, but-
all town councils shall serve. Ours says,
But I-
town councilors shall conduct themselves in a manner that reflects
All right,
leadership.
602.1.
I think they are role models of leadership.
All right, but I still
mean,
want this piece put in at the end,
What's the piece at the end?
which is the,
Town councils may.
in full transparency, yeah, no, wait, hold on, let me cut, if we can add this into form of good conduct, let's see.
I mean, it's short and to the point. I mean,
Okay. Let's see, hold on, let me just read that, let's see, okay, hold on. All right. All right, so if you, I would be okay with this if we just added in the, before, I don't know if we want to do, before the last sentence where it says members of the public.
Oh,
So,
wait, where were you?
I'm on the 602.13 that you want to put in.
Okay, the one of
Yeah,
Dan's, okay.
Dan's, yeah.
Yep.
So right before the last sentence says members of the public, what I'd like to say is I'd like to add in, so motives or personalities, and then pull off what we have on the end of the other one, and she'll encourage others not to do so. And then add the ending of this right here.
Okay, so you want to
So if you want to put this, I have no problem if they want to put this in.
replace all of
Say,
60213 with this.
Add this, so this whole thing.
Replace what's here now.
Yeah, so this is,
So
if they want to do
start with all
that.
town councilors, just get rid of that and just replace
see, is
that
that
entire, the entire.
Until you get to
Let me just
A.
read what it says.
Until you
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
A.
So if
No,
you want
he
to do
wants
this,
You want to add this back in though, right?
well, I'm going to ask. Annie, how do you okay with this 60213? Do you have any?
Looking at
With that
this.
addition.
Dan's?
With Dan's
Yeah, I'm going to start with
language?
Dan's, and then I'm just going to add in the other, the very end of what we had in the other one. That's it.
Which
Yeah.
is what, the refrain from personal attacks?
No,
good, 'cause I
and then,
don't like
yeah, and
that.
sure, and then, so it's going to say motives or personalities,
I see that,
and then
yeah.
it's going to say, and she'll encourage others not to do so, and then just add the end of this thing.
I would say members of the public, committee members and town staff, or committee members of the public and town. I mean, I think that this should cover.
Yeah, we'll add that in
members
at the
as
very
well.
end. I think I'm good with that. So
So you replace, so.
just get rid of this. Yeah, just
Get rid of the entire thing that's
yeah.
here,
And then right here, so
and then
put,
add.
see this? Put this all in.
Yeah.
And then right there where it says personality,
Mhm.
personality, and shall not encourage others to do so. And that's just the end of
I
this
have
down
that
here.
too,
And
so-
then,
hold on.
right here.
I know,
I
hold
know.
on. Under, okay. Council, I know, it's different.
And then put it right here.
Personality, so after personality, right?
Yeah.
You want to add, and shall not encourage others to do so.
I'm gonna give you my copy. Don't even worry about it.
Where is he reading this from?
I got
Help
it.
me out
And
here.
shall not encourage others
And shall not encourage others, and then,
to do so.
and then you can add what was remaining here, which is right here, which you already have in there.
Yep, I
Town
already
council's
have-
meeting.
and then-
And then Ann at the very end wants to say, well, I'm sorry, Ann, how is that? Members of the,
It says it right at the end of Dan's. Members of the public and town staff shall observe the same rules of propriety, decorum, and good conduct.
is that what you wanted in there, Ann, or you want something
I
else
wanted to add town committee members,
Oh, perfect.
members of town committees and boards.
Members of the
Well, shouldn't
public.
that be in
Public.
the boards and committee
And
town committees?
ordinance
All right,
that we're
so
working on
I'll help you
separately
out. So
now?
let's
Well,
do
I
this
mean,
one
as
first.
long
So
as
you-
separate-
you
So
get-
you
council's
want this
rules
in
of
there, you wanna
debate. Yeah,
replace
you're
it
right.
with this?
I mean,
We have a
So we'll get
separate
rid
one
of
that
this.
we're
So
working
he
on
wants-
next
sorry.
month.
Okay,
We have a
so
lot of these.
Members of the public, town staff.
Members of the public town
And town
committees.
staff attending town council.
Members of the public town committees and town, or how do you want to say it?
yeah, members of town committees and boards.
All right, so members of the public town committees.
Hold on, because now
All right, I'll do this right here.
You got me, I'm trying to incorporate what Dan has and then
Just so you know, this is the council rules, and we
Right.
have the boards and committees separate. Why wouldn't
Right.
that,
We
why
don't
wouldn't
need to
that
add
be in
it.
that one?
It would be.
I know, but I get what she's saying, because if somebody else comes up here and talks, if somebody's a committee member or somebody
Well,
else.
Well, then
still
they're a
part
member
of
of
the
the public.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
they
shouldn't
are
be
the
on
I
there.
just don't think you can say it too many times, honestly, but.
I know, but it is, this is the council, our rules, and then we have now
That's the original. You
separated
have
that
the
out.
change.
It
You
was
have this-
one thing, but
you
it's
okay
not.
with it?
I have Dan's and then I had, and
So
shall not
sorry,
encourage
Bob.
others to do so.
Do some, and
Can
then,
we
okay,
And then
and
add
then,
back in,
We do
the-
Bob.
And then-
town councilors may in full transparency.
yeah, and that's it. Oh, great. And then we're good.
They're worried about.
Do you want to give me my copy?
Sure.
Here, this is what you.
And then
look,
members
look.
of the public, town committees and town staff, right?
Yeah.
I thought we were leaving the town committees
Okay,
on.
what do we
Okay,
do?
okay, here you go. So here you go. So you add Dan's
Yep,
thing,
got
and then
that,
you go
I got
boom,
that,
and you get
yep.
this, and then you're good. Okay,
And then the
cool.
rest of it, we're gonna leave the
Yeah,
same.
we're good. All right.
Perfect. That's what I was trying to.
And that was your only other one, Pam.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, I just really wanted to do the next item.
Okay.
So no committees.
Yeah.
I still have.
Okay, let me pull this up here. So can I try, all right, can we try this and see if it floats here? Resolve 2627-1. Motion be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby reaffirms the Town Council rules, Chapter 602, as amended to remain in full force and effect until amended by future council action as amended. All in favor? All opposed? All right, so 4 yeas and Mike is absent.
Oh, he's not that on. His
That
internet
needs to
went
be
out.
noted.
He texted me, yeah.
Okay.
So
that's
he's
right.
not there, okay.
That's okay. All right, beautiful. Thank you. That's good. All right, so next up, we have no unfinished business, second final reason. We have no business license, the resolve. Okay. All right, this is resolve 2627.
Can we do Bob first?
We cannot. This will be quick. I can't change the order. By the time I do the thing to change the order, it'll be
Yeah,
done.
let's just do
Okay,
it.
fine.
Just stay.
Yeah, it should be quick.
Thank you, Bob. You've been a trooper.
Peach.
Resolve 2627-15. The agenda item is reappointment of Sandra Carter to DMS committee. And it's be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby reappoints Sandy Carter to the Dry Mills Schoolhouse Committee for a term ending September 1, 2027. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Second, okay. Let's see.
Anybody
At this time, anybody want to have public comment, come up to speak?
I don't.
Anybody online, Kyle?
No.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to close public comment. Open public comment with us. Anybody need to say anything? I think we're all on the same page. All right, motion be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby reappoints Sandy Carter to the Dry Mills Schoolhouse Committee for a term ending September 1, 2027. All in favor? All opposed? 4 yeas, 0 nays. Congratulations.
One not here.
And one not here, yes. And then, like the finale of the fireworks. Next up, resolve 2627-16, the reappointment of Bob Coleman to the Finance Committee. Be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby appoints Bob Coleman to the Finance Committee for a term expiring September 1, 2027. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
So second. Beautiful. Would anybody like to come up to speak? You can have as much time as you want. Thank you. Thank you.
I really didn't mind waiting. It's kind of like wrestling with a pig in the mud. After an hour, you realize the pig likes it.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I did want to just comment. As you can tell by most of the comments that I make, I am fiscally conservative. I am not because I can't afford to pay my taxes, but because I am worried about the next generation and frankly my grandkids, who I hope someday will inherit my property. And my tax bill now is higher than my mortgage payment was when I bought my house. So it's this little increment every year that is making it more and more difficult for young families. So, but that said, I understand that is not my role on the Finance Committee. I do not sit on that committee to control how we, the town, spends our money. I have full trust in the town staff. I believe it is the role of the town manager and the town department heads to manage our finances carefully and accurately. And I see my role, frankly, as just to help oversee that, to ask questions. And frankly, I think a big part of it is to help inform the public about things that, with regard to the fiscal responsibility of the town. And frankly, that's why I'm so adamant about being allowed to speak at town meetings, because it's not just to say to the town council, this is what I think. It's to say to the public and those that might be watching on TV or whatever that, hey, this is what the numbers say, and to report that. So that is kind of how I see my role in the Finance Committee. I would appreciate your support, and we'll do what I can to make sure that we're fiscally responsible. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else like to comment? Kyle, anyone online?
He said no.
No.
I mean,
Thank you.
there's
I can't.
Oh, you can't?
No, my contacts are done. Yeah. All right, I'm going to close public comments at this time. Anybody? I'll start off. I think he's fantastic. We're lucky to have him. And does anybody else have any comments?
Yes, I do.
Please.
I think Bob Coleman is the hugest asset we've had in that finance committee in so long. I think the work he does in that committee is pretty incredible. He's got so much knowledge that he brings into that. It's amazing, really. I think the town is so fortunate that he has come back, and I am so grateful for you, Bob. You know, I'm just so grateful you're back on that committee, and I think we're going to have a great year this year. I think we're going to make some great, I think we're going to see a lot of things that we didn't see before, that we can make some adjustments to help the town improve on, and I am so looking forward to it. And like I said, I appreciate your coming back, and I just think the town is so lucky to have you. So thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, well, beautiful. Then with regards to Resolve 2627-16, my computer will go down here. The motion be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby appoints Bob Coleman to the Finance Committee for a term expiring September 1, 2027. All in favor?
Yay.
All opposed? So 4 yeas and 1 not here. Okay, thank you. So we have no orders for first reading, no for second. Referrals, I don't believe we have any, unless anybody has something.
Can I bring something up?
You sure can.
Oh. Yeah, I wanted to bring up something about, and I know that we can't do a lot of anything about it, but I wanted to find out, maybe we can bring it onto an agenda or something like that. I live in a subdivision, and our subdivision has come forward and asked about why are we a private road and not a town road? And why is that through the whole town like that? Why are we as a subdivision responsible for our road when we pay these taxes? And it's kind of like, why are we feel like we're being double taxed on this.
You have an expert on town roads and private roads. Yeah.
Because I just feel they should not be, I don't feel subdivision
I think that's a
Then you would bring up all the lakes too, so it would be like opening a big bed.
I think that's a Christian thing, but I think what happens is when the developers go in for the road, I believe, because I know this is how ours did, there were certain criteria that they were supposed to meet to have that road approved, and I'm not, so you'd have to go back maybe to the developer to see.
No, they were set by state, by the town,
I think the town
guidelines.
did a decision that they weren't taking on any more of these subdivision roads except for winter maintenance at some point, that they weren't taking on any more new roads. Is that? Yes, he does have the answer, I think.
Okay, if you have the answer.
Yep.
But you better have the answer.
And I hope I like it.
Throw me out of the meeting. Dan McGuire, Johnson Road. I don't remember what year it was, but it must be pushing 20 years now. The council decided, exactly as Pam said, that they did not want to incur the expense of more town roads because town roads were very expensive. And so the only way that your ordinances currently allow a town road to be an accepted road is if it is a connector. In other words, it would have to connect two roads of substance. So the only one that was under discussion for a while, and it seems to have fallen off the radar, not quite sure why, probably because of all the changes, was Deer Acres Road between Brown and Gore. Had approached the council 4 years ago now, asking to be considered as a town road. And the then manager and planner and the council had worked out a deal, that if they brought the road up to an acceptable town standard, then there was a likelihood that the town would accept it because it does connect Brown and Gore. And when there's an emergency on Route 85, traffic gets routed down Brown, across Deer Acres, and up Gore. It also gets used a lot by fuel trucks and delivery
buses.
trucks. So it felt like one that actually met the test. But it would be a spectacular expense if you, and I don't disagree with you. I think that there are roads in town that probably deserve to be owned by the town. The other piece of it is your subdivision requires these roads to be paved. And that's a massive expense for a subdivision. If the town's not going to accept the road as a town road, I don't understand why the town should force the developers or owners to incur the expense of a paved road. But I know I've just gotten way off the
Well, I agree
topics.
with you on that, Dan, because I mean, I look at it as subdivision, I mean, we're taxpayers paying very large amounts of tax money, but yet we have to pay for a road association if the damage is to the road and retiring the road, but yet they plow us, but it's just kind of like, it's like we're being penalized almost, but these roads were set up to be, they are a town-approved road.
I can show you the letter I have from from Janice McGrath, the town manager back in 1987, who, when I bought my property, wrote a letter for our bank that said, yes, the town does maintain the road. Shortly after that, the state Supreme Court ruled that towns couldn't spend money on private property, which many of those roads are. Since then, the law has changed, and recently it's changed even more. In Gray, most towns abandoned those roads completely, but some towns like Gray kept the winter maintenance under the
Certain conditions. Yeah.
well, under the condition that the town has a responsibility to provide fire rescue safety services. So that's the reason why we have the winter maintenance road still here in Gray. But you know, if you want to open that ordinance, I'm sure a lot of people would be really happy about it.
I know they would.
I don't know that, I think Bob would be
Until they saw
back
the
with his
bill.
conversation about the percent increase in their taxes.
That's a lot of subdivisions. That's a lot of subdivisions.
Well, it has
It's
to
a lot
be
of
an
money.
accepted road though, so that eliminates quite a few of them too, so it can't be some dirt road.
Most of the subdivisions now, to have winter maintenance, they have to be at town
Right.
standard.
The town has
right.
about a half a mile of town-owned unpaved roads left, but that's all. The rest of them have fallen under the subdivision rule and have been paved since then. I also noticed that most people don't build a subdivision greater than 27 or 29 houses.
Yeah.
There's other reasons for that.
You know.
Thank you.
All right,
You're welcome,
thank you.
thank you.
Yep, good
And Bob,
question.
to your thing about the budget, I mean, you know, you do gotta realize the school budget makes up 50% of our tax bill now.
Yeah,
You know, that's pretty significant. That's the kicker right there.
this is the kicker.
So, I mean, it's a very
So-
large amount of our money.
So for us, current council referrals of the comprehensive plan rezoning, create water quality ordinance, village transformation project, self-insured program in the risk pool, and then upcoming meetings are town council workshop on the 15th at 6, town council meeting on the 15th at 6:30. We have no executive session tonight, and before I adjourn, I'd like to thank everybody because we are all very different and diverse, and it just shows you that we can work well together, and I think that's great. So,
Can you tell me what the workshop is on the 15th? What is the workshop?
When is the retreat?
That's the 20-something.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a workshop
On the
on
15th.
the agenda because we don't know if it's, we leave it on as a future.
Oh, we leave it on as a
meeting
future, but we
because
don't know. But
if
we'll know
it's-
before.
Yes,
Okay.
you will know before.
Yeah. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn?
Yes. I
First,
move.
second? All right, I was gonna do this. All right, great. Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.